The moment you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for. Here we go. Welcome to Google Plus Week. I'm Dan McDermott, your host and life coach. Just kidding. We are actually, I apologize for being so late, but I've always wanted to say this. It was truly Alan's fault this time. I think this
everything's my fault, as we will find out through this entire show.
And it is Halloween.
So, Moritz, am I allowed to? I can screen share now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to screen share. This is Alan Firstenberg. Welcome, Alan, sir.
Hi, Dan.
So we have a new UI, as you can see. Does everyone have it yet, Moritz?
Most people should have it, yeah.
And we discovered that Alan was using the old UI. Basically, his face was lit up just by the screen. And so after about 10 minutes of cussing, we've determined that that's not an effective strategy now. So we're going to have to buy him a light bulb. Craig is going to send him an Amazon gift certificate.
I'll just send him the lights.
There you go. Craig Shipp is our troll from Apple. Welcome, Craig.
Hello, hello.
And then going from Beast to the Beauty, we have Jody Rains. Welcome, Jody.
Hi, how you doing, Dan?
You probably got to head off to a tech webcast soon, right? And then come back?
Yeah, in a little bit.
And then our director of lighting showing us his Google power, Moritz, whose views
I tried you.
Any views expressed on this program by Moritz reflect those of Moritz and most definitely not Google. And then
Not all the time.
Pam
Actually,
Adger,
it would be good for Google if they did. He speaks some sense.
Absolutely. Pam Adger's here. And we're running it almost an hour late, so Pam could be in rare form by the end of the program.
Yep, drinking grapefruit vodka as we speak.
Hell yeah. I'll be right over. Joining us from Nashville, Tennessee, Peter G. McDermott. You can find him at google.com/. Oh, I'm sorry. Just kidding.
That's a 108-54123-564-252-388-3716.
I'm trolling Peter because he's the only one who hasn't gotten his vanity URL yet.
I don't have a vanity URL.
You don't?
We'll be talking about that later.
Oh, I imagine we will.
Oh, it's an exclusive.
Alan probably refused it. Form of protest.
Of course I refused it, because they gave me crap. Crap, I say crap.
So I have a special.
So now it's a good thing, as long as you could have had a good one, huh?
I have a special screen for Alan. Rant, Alan. It says caution rant alert. Okay, so anyway, all that happened. All right, so first up is what is first up? First up is
A morning with
apparently
Google
there was
Plus.
some news. Yeah, I was trolling them because they had the power one out, and then I did it. I crossed it out and said afternoon with Google Plus, but it was only like a half an hour late. So that's pretty impressive to bring in a generator to power all that stuff in half an hour. So they'll have to add that to the list of things to bring to their events. Where was the event, Moritz?
I actually don't know. It was somewhere in San Francisco in like an old, I don't know, factory somewhere.
So they thanked everyone at the end. Who was there? Was it reporters?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so first up, the latest numbers. Alan, you want to talk about that, and then Moritz, you can talk about that, and then whoever else wants to talk about that. We got to give.
Why don't you have Moritz talk about that first?
Okay, and then we'll go to Jody because Craig says Jody needs more screen time for a multitude of reasons.
That's not rocket science, for gosh sakes.
Yeah. So the latest numbers.
Less sausage factory, more Jody. Oh, go ahead. Moritz.
You don't need a Mac user to tell you that. I mean,
So we released the latest numbers. I don't have them from the top of my head right now, but
300 million monthly active users, and it was 540 million who.
Something around that.
540 million who use a Google Plus account across Google Plus, across all of Google's properties.
Yeah, so and compared to the last numbers we gave out at Google I/O, it's still a good improvement and a good growth, and it looks like it's still continuing. Because even since those numbers, we still grew a lot more. So I think we're still doing good with Google Plus. It's still going upwards, and yeah, that's why we still push a lot of updates. And some of you like it, and some not. So, but we get into that later.
But you've indicated that, in general, not on a specific update, but you've indicated that one feature you were talking about, you said it is performing as it's supposed to, but you've gotten negative feedback, and you escalated some things to the engineers, and so you're responding to that. If folks want to gripe or offer feedback, as you would call it, bitch, I would call it, but if they want to do that, what's the best way just
to provide feedback?
I mean, should you plus mention Google Plus Help, or is it going to...
Yeah, so like if there are like issues on Google Plus, either it's like around custom URLs because you don't like the pre-approved name, or other issues you can see, it's the best way is always to use the built-in feedback, even though it's like a one-way thing. But we are reading through all this feedback, and based on how much feedback we get for a certain issue or a certain feature request or whatsoever, we will take it into consideration and act on it later on. Sometimes it requires some time, but sometimes it can also be quick. Like we had a good example with Maps around the offline caching and stuff like that, where they released an update within 24 hours based on the feedback we got. So sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes a few weeks or a month to incorporate the feedback we get. And besides that, you can, or you should, mention the Google Plus Help page, and they will either respond to you to get some more details, or pass the feedback along to the correct teams.
Now, you guys lost a bunch of engineers to temporarily fix the Obamacare website. Now, that's not going to delay these fixes, right?
No.
Okay. And then, Jody, what do you think? Basically, Google Plus has all but taken over Facebook I'm just kidding.
Not quite yet.
Close, but yeah, still a lot of growing pains, and some really good changes though. I love the new user interface for the Hangouts, but a lot of things that are still kind of glitchy and not quite smoothed over. But the cool thing is we're growing with them. Everything's evolving, and as long as they're receptive to input, I think it's positive progress.
Yeah, we definitely be receptive to input. Absolutely. And
So
one of the numbers I was pretty amazed by was the number of photos uploaded. I mean, a big chunk of that is probably the auto backup we're doing on Android phones, and hopefully soon on iOS as well. And I mean, it was like 1.5 billion a week or something like that. So that's an impressive number. And I think even this number is going to grow in the future.
As far as the numbers, and I'm going to go to Alan, Moritz, I know you guys are getting ready to switch YouTube comments from the legacy, the current system to Google Plus comments, right?
Right.
And of course, when they initially rolled this out back in the day, in July 11 or whatever it was, they said, they referred to it as a social layer for all of our disparate products, and so we're seeing that still rolling out. Really, that's going to have a tremendous effect on the numbers, right? I think it's. By the way, before you answer that, I think it's a good idea, because if you watch a major event like the World Cup or President Obama doing a press conference, the comments on YouTube are just absurd, juvenile, crazy, vulgar, racist, everything. And
yeah,
just
I saw
rapid
like
fire.
I saw some funny press reports around that. Like, hey, Google is going to fix the worst comments on the internet. and stuff like that.
And you will get some negative feedback from people who like the current system, and like, oh, Google Plus.
That's always the
sucks,
case.
and-
You can't, it's hard to satisfy everyone. You will always have people that complain.
I don't know. I think Google Plus
but I
satisfies
think-
everyone.
Dan,
But this is going to have a huge impact on the numbers when you do that, right?
What numbers of users?
Yeah, because technically they'll be using Google Plus at that point, right?
yeah, Dan, you just
Yes.
raised a really
Yeah.
interesting question, because actually that means they're really using Google Plus now. Okay? So if we look at the number of people who are supposed to be unique visitors to YouTube and compare that with the 540 million, we get an interesting number, don't we? I mean, the quick stats that I just looked up say that there are over 1 billion unique visitors per month to YouTube, whereas we're only seeing 540 million to Google, across Google when you're looking at Google Plus accounts, which now include YouTube accounts. So we're saying only half of the YouTube accounts have been converted into Google Plus accounts?
I wonder what percentage of people comment on videos.
It's not
Yeah,
even
I mean, we
comments.
will
It also
see. I mean-
includes channels that have switched over.
I mean, we will see. I mean, Google Plus is more and more
Basically,
becoming
the
the
numbers
social.
are the numbers are totally bogus and misleading, and it's just ridiculous to even dream that there are 300 million people on Google Plus.
Just because you
Much
don't have
less
any followers,
500
Greg,
million.
doesn't mean that there aren't.
It's
Jody,
just,
what's the quote that you have?
Well, Kevin had an interesting thought. He says, one thing that's working well on G+, Google is killing it with auto photo uploads, and he can't do without it.
Oh, we'll be covering that a little bit later if we ever get past this subject.
But I agree, that's a killer feature, and they focused on it. It started
and
out
that may
as,
be
as
one reason why they've got this number they can tout is, let's say somebody gets an Android phone and they start taking pictures and it auto uploads to Google Plus, then all of a sudden they say that that person is an active user of Google Plus, which of course they're not. So it's totally bogus. There's no foundation in fact whatsoever.
Well,
I don't
we're
think
looking
that's
at
I can't
accurate,
believe
Craig.
that some of the pundits have bought onto it.
What's the use? Okay, what about the geography? I agree that most people, Craig knows, in Frederick, Maryland, are using
Most people,
Facebook.
period.
Well, but Orkut's big in Brazil, and Google Plus is big in many countries. It's not going to overtake Facebook anytime soon in the U.S., but there could. I mean, are there countries where it's like
I
all
am
that?
talking about U.S. I don't have any knowledge of overseas, but I am
Because
talking
you're
about US.
jingoistic and hate anyone who's not just like you.
No, I just don't have knowledge of that, but I have a lot of knowledge of people in the U.S. and I
But
know
see,
that
this,
they're not on
this is
Google
just like you
Plus.
were saying today or yesterday on the phone. You were talking about the iPhone sales, and you said like Android beats them, but only overseas and in the U.S.
That's right.
So it could be this. Maybe it's a similar phenomenon.
Well, absolutely. If the phones are auto-uploading photos to Google Plus, and somebody buys a cheap phone in India or whatever, and they take a picture and it goes to Google Plus, and they claim that's a user, then absolutely they can juice the numbers.
Why?
Go
why
ahead, Pam.
Why is auto upload such a popular thing? I mean, I don't want my photos auto uploaded.
Oh, it's Pam. have you ever-
especially if they have to conform to the terms of service.
no,
I mean, if I
it-
take a naked picture, well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying about glass, right? So it automatically uploads, and that's why you can't do pornos on glass. So why are my
how would they
auto
even know
upload
it was a
photos-
porno? Because it by
Exactly.
how would they
So
know
how
it
would they
uploads
know
to private? If you share it
Well,
publicly, you could get in trouble, I guess.
Dan, those
how
are
did
Yeah,
they
they
know
can
that?
still scan it. They
Dan.
can still scan the picture.
They are scanning the pictures. We know they're scanning the pictures, and how do we know that? Because they told us they're scanning the pictures. That's a feature that we will be covering if we ever get past this first subject.
You're right, Alan. He's 100% right.
But Pam, I think you have always edge cases, and I mean, like nudity and stuff like that. It's one of those edge cases. For those cases, you can turn it off.
Wait,
But it, like-
Moritz, it is not an edge case. Do you know how many people take naked pictures? Really, it might be an edge case for you.
But let me finish. Like for the common user, it's valuable because nowadays you snap a lot of pictures with your phone because this is something you have always with you. And imagine your phone gets stolen or it's broken or whatever, you lost it. All your pictures will be gone without a backup, but they're still in the cloud. But Alan disagrees.
Guys, we have this subject later on.
Okay,
Really,
let's
we will beat it to
continue.
death later.
The porn
We're done
subject?
with the numbers. Let's go on. Hangout video layout in defect changes.
Okay.
So Jody, you commented that you really like this new feature. Why don't you tell us about it?
Which feature specifically? I'm sorry.
The new Hangout.
We've been going all
new
over the
Hangout
place.
video layouts.
Okay, because what I was referring to is the auto upload and also the fact that it interprets.
No,
the pictures.
before then, you were talking about the new Hangout video, how you liked.
Oh, that part. Yeah, I like it.
So for those people who haven't gotten it yet, why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, so the things that look completely different when you first go into the Hangout, the pictures are bigger. It looks different. It looks a lot more contemporary. You have a slider on the left side where all of the applications they come out, and then when you don't move your mouse, they retract back in. It's just really clean.
Clean? You call this clean?
I like it. Yeah, it's got a black background, which is really nice because it has this subtle overtone. So if you use the screen to light your face on a Hangout, which everybody tells you not to do, you'll look like Alan.
Yes.
Jody, take your time going through the features. We need about 10 minutes on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll get 10 minutes on it, Craig. Don't worry.
No, from Jody.
Oh, from Jody, yeah.
So seriously, Alan, just out of curiosity, lighting. What's with the lighting?
I have bad lighting tonight.
Okay.
And I was rushed and I couldn't finish setting it up.
Oh, okay.
He normally uses the lighting from the Hangout. That's what he does.
Well, no, I don't always. In this particular environment, I do sometimes. But I don't have a chance to finish setting it up.
Please keep your comments coming, as you can see.
Well, Jacob Jones wants to know who let Nosferatu into the show. And Kevin says, what I've gathered from the conversation by 15, I guess that's 15 minutes in, is that 87% of all G+ users take naked pics.
Well, I don't think they should restrict what you upload privately. I think that the censorship, if they're going to censor stuff, should come in when you share it publicly.
Exactly.
But the
Unless
rules
it's an
don't say
illegal
that,
image, like, like
So
apparently.
if there's absolutely no way Google's going to tell me what I can and can't take a picture of. And if they're going to auto-upload it, then F them. They need to leave my pictures alone.
Trust me, we'll get to this in a little bit.
What about beheading? What about beheading pics or video? Because I think Facebook just cracked down. Apparently, you can no longer post beheading videos.
I don't care if I can't post them. I just don't want Google to steal them from my phone and then ding me because they took them off my phone and uploaded them to the cloud and then say, well, you violated the terms of service.
But we get to that later.
I wonder if the Saudi Arabian and Iranian justice ministries have Facebook pages, and maybe that was the. I guess they can't post videos anymore.
Are they allowed to post beheading videos to Google+?
I don't know.
It's as far as I.
should stay
Craig,
on
will
topic.
you try it?
Talk about
Will you try
Hangouts
it?
first before we talk
Dan?
about.
Yes, sir.
Dan, am I supposed to ding you every time we derail?
No,
Or-
I was having fun with it.
Yeah, I realize that, but that's fine.
Back to Hangouts and the new design.
But let's talk about the new design before Jody leaves.
Okay, so this is what it looks like for everyone. I'm screen sharing. So as you talk about it, Jody, I can kind of show,
Okay. Well, what I wanted to do was mention a couple of the comments that we received. TW Factor Studio says, I like the full screen as well. It looks a lot better and clean. Thank you. I agree. Bruce Turner says, I like the look I get when I double-click on the big video. It puts the thumbnails below the big pane.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yay.
How come your comment tracker just switched?
I don't know.
It was blue and now it's white. Moritz, are you tinkering?
No, I think Jody was loading the standalone comment tracker. I can see it in the app panel on the left.
What app panel on the left? Oh, the app panel that disappears now. So you don't know who's running what apps anymore. That app panel.
Is it that important to know who's running which app?
Yes.
I never paid attention to that, but okay.
Oh yeah.
I like to have it on the big screen where all you see is the people's talking, and you don't have to worry about all the other things because that's better.
All right, wait a minute, hold on. It's blue again. Okay.
That's
So, yeah.
freaky, Moritz. What the hell kind of app you trying to run?
It's not Moritz's fault. It's a blonde thing.
It's the user's fault.
It's Jody keeps switching between apps and didn't know it because the app keeps disappearing on the side. This is a usability issue.
Now wait a minute. Are you all saying that you're supposed to be able to double click on the big video and get rid of all the thumbnails? Because I can't do that.
No, if you double click on the big video, it makes it a not so big video.
So you can't get rid of the thumbnails?
No.
Okay.
Why would you want to?
Well, if you just wanted to watch the whole thing full screen, just watch whoever's talking, like television. That's all.
It is, well, okay.
So
Just
yeah,
picture in
it's
picture.
double click on the big image, which is a really obvious user interface design.
He says sarcastically.
Yeah, but it doesn't get rid of the thumbnails.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Craig, you have a nice jacket
why,
tonight.
Why would you want to get that? Never mind, Craig. I don't want to know. You are the most antisocial social person I have ever met in my life.
No, if you're watching a television show, you don't see all the people that are off camera. You see just the main feed.
When I watch Meet the Press, I see everyone on the panel.
Not if they've got a
This is
close-up.
Meet
Not if
Google
they've got a
Press.
close-up of somebody.
I think Meet the Press is going to emulate Google Hangouts.
Craig, the
Because
guy
this is
who
cool.
Craig, the guy who whoever is the hottest chick in the show is blue box the entire program regardless of who's talking.
I would be going back and forth between Pam and Jody the whole freaking show, and I would have them full screen, no thumbnails, period, the whole show, and I bet you the ratings would go up. Just saying.
All right, so any other comments on whatever topic we're currently on?
We're still on topic 2, Dan. We're talking about the Hangouts.
The Hangouts rock. Let's
Hangouts
move on.
Hey,
video.
Alan, what's your take on it?
In general, I like it. I do like the darker background. I like the concept of the full bleed, but I think the implementation of the full bleed is giving me headaches. There are certain aspects to it that I'm very disappointed by. I think the vanishing user controls are only going to confuse new users. I've already tried to talk 2 new users through it, and they've been confused by it. So I think there are some, and I think vanishing controls are just the worst UI decision ever.
I think you should have a choice.
Yeah, they should just put a little arrow there where you can collapse and bring it back.
But, I mean, this is very, very avant-garde. This is the way all the new sites are evolving, so that things disappear and move, and it's very subtle. But I think you should have a choice whether you want it or not.
Peter McDermott, what do you think? Or are you still boycotting the program?
He's still working on his URL. I gave
We'll
up
get
on
to that
mine.
later too.
Peter's
Craig.
talking, and we're
Okay,
not hearing him.
We're not here.
Is he Is he? Oh, it's a Peter rant.
Now he's doing Alan.
Okay, so here's the deal. On this Hangout thing,
He left.
he'll come back. Something's wrong. Okay, so what you can do is, like, I have Jody here, right? So if I double click on her, she goes full screen. And
No.
I just did it, and it did.
If you double click on the big image, it toggles between full bleed and non-full bleed.
That's what I'm saying.
And
But it does it for all users in the Hangout, not only
Right.
for Jody.
Unless, as you see here, okay, so I can toggle Alan I can toggle him full bleed, meaning that his image is full screen with the thumbnails on the bottom. And then if I move my mouse to another screen, or I assume if it becomes dormant, if you just leave it alone for a while, then the
yes,
controls
about
go
10
away.
seconds.
Okay, so the thumbnails are here. Now, if you don't want that, you can double click, and then everyone is letterboxed. Like you see Jody now with black around and thumbnails are below. Now that's what I do because my shot, I literally I just cut this out for this shot when I'm doing them full screen. So then the other thing though is even if you're at full bleed like this, if you have a lower third on your screen, that person is letterboxed because they figured out that if you have an overlay or lower third or some sort of graphic, that this would be awkward if it were, it would, it would suck. It would be This
It would suck. That's a great way to put it, Dan.
Yeah, that's my technical. I'm trying to
The
be very technical
thumbnails would be over top of the lower third. That's the thing. They would
Yeah.
hide the part of the lower third. That's all.
So but a lot of people wouldn't know that if you double click on the top, you just had to figure that out. So anyway,
So back to what I was saying is this really sucks, apparently.
I like it.
So Dan, just to correct you here a bit, whenever you have a
Alan's
lower
job, but go
third
ahead.
on, it automatically goes to letterbox. You don't have to double click, because we define like a region of interest, which is the lower third, and whenever you have a lower third, it's more important to see the lower third. That's why we switch to letterbox whenever you have an overlay.
That's what I was
But
saying. I was
here's the
saying that
problem.
even if you have it full bleed, it doesn't apply if they have an overlay or a lower
Yes.
Right.
third.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, that makes
they did
sense.
the right thing.
Well, I don't. Here's why I don't think it's the right thing. I don't think it's the right thing because what you start getting is you start getting mixes of people who do and don't have overlays. So it jumps between the full bleed and the non-full bleed, and it really has a very jumpy image to it. As opposed to if you force it into non-full bleed all the time, it's a lot more consistent. It's a lot more visually consistent, and it's not as jumpy. The quality.
So
is
you're
so much
saying if
better
one
each
person in the
versus other.
Hangout has a lower third, then it should force everybody to be letterboxed.
No, I just think it should force everybody to be letterboxed in the first place. I think the full bleed is a bad
I think it
design.
looks a lot like it used to.
Oh, yeah. When did you go back? A year and a half to find that one?
This is like this is 2 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
That for those that don't remember, that's what Hangouts with extras they called it then.
Hangouts with extras, that's right.
So okay, now Moritz, if I have if I double click to do a full bleed, that also if this were a Hangout on air, which it's not, this is just a regular video call. If this were a Hangout on air, if I double click on Peter and go full bleed, that makes the Hangout on air full screen with no thumbnails, correct?
I'm not quite sure yet how the new interface looks like on a Hangout on Air recording.
Okay.
My understanding, and I've gotten conflicting answers on this, is that the owner of the Hangout does not have control over whether it's going to be full bleed or not on the Hangout on Air recording.
We used to. So this is new.
With the cameraman app, you had full control about that. Well,
That's a good point. The cameraman app might.
Yeah. So you were able to decide if you want to be full screen or including thumbnails.
So
But
Moritz,
I haven't tested it with the new UI yet, and we still have to do some changes to reflect the whole new design thing on the Hangout on Air recording.
so I've got a question. The hotkeys have changed. What is
Really?
the hotkey to quickly mute and unmute?
Control D still works.
Does it?
Control D or Command D
Yeah,
still
it
works.
works
Yeah.
Command D on a Mac.
Well, okay. I thought I was hitting. Never mind.
It's a shame Craig Shipp doesn't make more use of that command key.
I actually used my mixer knob here, but I'll use it more often.
Yeah, you play with your knob a
And,
lot.
Peter, just as an FYI for you, when you bring up the interface and in the lower left-hand corner there is a question mark, and there is a link for the keyboard shortcuts that show you them all. But you're muted.
And you're muted again, and we know you're muted because we see the little icon that says you're muted.
Yeah, which we didn't
I
have
actually
before.
like that feature.
Well, that's
that's
cool.
neat.
So I'm not muted anymore, but I'll tell you, if you actually do it more instead and go and check out the keyboard shortcuts, they're actually customized for the people in the Hangout, which I think is a great feature for new users to see, oh, if I want to get Alan's menu to pop up, I hit Alt+1. All right.
I like that it has
I
the
like
red,
that. That's cool.
the big microphone on me as
Dan,
well.
you're muted.
Sorry.
So
Um,
everyone else can hear you but us.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Because I was talking about you, Alan. No, I like that. It's very prominent on your thumb that you're muted.
Well,
So
with
you
Jody's thumbnail, it's a bit hard to see because she has the G+ in white behind it. So you can't.
And
So
Jeffrey
that-
Jeffrey
that-
Hellman says, click the question mark on the lower left corner to get the commands.
Well, Wow. You know,
So
that's
yeah, they
interesting.
should have probably, Moritz, they should have probably had the mic
That's
in the other
intuitive.
corner, so that it doesn't conflict with people that have logos like that.
Don't you even turn that capture off. That's a pain in the ass. Telling you.
So there's lots of command keys I didn't even know.
So
Okay, so any
or
other
any more
Hangout
takes on
comments?
we all
Hangouts?
agree. We all agree.
Any more on the video layout and effects? Oh, we haven't talked about the effects.
Oh yeah, the effects. The reason why we haven't talked about the effects is because nobody can figure out how to freak to turn them on.
What effects?
Where are the effects?
Thank
What-
you.
Like the hat?
But they
Do you want me to
have
wear a
no,
hat?
I-
No, the-
No, not those effects. The other effects.
Why do you
Wait,
have two
that
different
might-
effects? That's too many
Those
effects.
effects here I'm doing right now with the video.
The
Yeah,
enhancements.
You can't natively find those though.
We use the term enhance loosely.
So
Wait.
To be able to select them, you have to blue box yourself,
Okay.
and then there should be an enhanced thing like you see in the photos on Google Plus, where you have like a drop down with all the.
In the upper
different
right-hand
effects.
corner.
Yeah, that's
you'll see-
intuitive.
Ah.
All right, so
And
I
if
blue
you
box
don't
myself.
see them, then you don't have them yet because they're also still rolling out.
and then I
Isn't that
can-
intuitive?
Very intuitive.
So I can. Oh my God, this is such a fail. I'm warm. I'm warm now. And then I'm
Yeah, I don't
smooth.
have 'em yet.
You don't have them yet.
No,
Do you have the black screen though?
I don't have the menu.
Do you have the black screen, Craig?
Yeah,
Oh, then
but
you
I don't
have
have the.
Like even for
blue
those
box.
that haven't
Blue box
designed,
yourself.
I am blue box, but I don't have the enhanced thing in the upper right-hand corner. It's not there.
As I said, it's not fully rolled out.
Oh,
It's
okay.
separately from the new design.
Now, one thing you should be aware of is we've had some complaints from folks that there's a lag if you use one of these enhancements, and that if that occurs, you switch back to original because by default, I guess to show off the feature, everyone is
It
by
doesn't have-
default enhanced.
But it's
and if you
only
switch it-
affecting certain CPUs. Like for most CPUs, it should work. But if you have some issues with the video and audio delay, you better switch to original.
Yeah, so again, all you do to get this feature, you blue box yourself, like I'm showing them how to do it. You do that, and then you go to the menu, or no, then you go up here to original. This is so ghetto. Oh my God. I think this is like healthcare.org stuff.
Well, you know, you could be on the beach and it's more relaxing.
My
That's
biggest
a different
problem with
kind of
this.
effect.
My biggest problem with a number of these new controls, like the double click to change full bleed, and to get this, is that we now have like 3 or 4 different ways to control what's going on. And it would really, really, I don't know, am I the only one that thinks that actually having a menu or something to control this would make sense?
Yes.
Well,
Another thing I personally
it's
don't
also
like.
fighting. It's also fighting my my camera settings. So I'll click smooth or brighten, and then it converts back to my camera settings. So I'm having this issue with my my image looking like crap, looking good, looking like crap, looking good, looking like crap, and I can't seem to make it just stop.
I have that too. Unfortunately, it's not related to Hangouts.
Well, this is the first time it's ever happened to me, so I'm assuming that it is related to this Hangout.
Yeah, I was talking in general, not even on the computer.
Another thing I don't like about a thing I don't like about the new design is that you're not able to click on a profile that easy compared to the
2
old
steps.
design.
Yep, 2 steps now.
Yeah, now you have to hover over it, click on the arrow, and then on the profile link. In the old design, you just hovered over the profile or the thumbnail video, and the link was right there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the broad goal of what they were going for here isn't bad, but I think it needs a lot more baking. A lot more baking.
Do you agree it's an improvement? They're in the right direction.
No.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, Alan, you're submitting all this feedback to the appropriate channels,
Yes.
and so do others. So we are still collecting all this feedback, and as I said earlier, based on the feedback, we will take action or not.
Okay, so we all agree that it's basically a perfection now, and they can move on to other things.
Yes, other things like
Like
Hangouts and SMS, and no voice integration.
okay, now
yeah.
let's. I am lucky in that well, it's a curse and a blessing, but I have a Sprint phone. So if you have Sprint, they suck in some ways, but they're awesome in other ways. The ways that they're awesome.
No, tell me, because I really don't know at this point.
No, because if you want to know how, okay, if you know how Sprint sucks, just type Sprint sucks in Google and you'll get, I don't know how many results.
You'll get the whole internet, Dan. Let's
Basically
not
the
lie.
entire internet, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the way that they're good is that you can, it's unlimited data and everything for like $100.
When it works, and it turns out it's really not that often.
And then the second thing is you can use Google Voice with your actual phone number. You can take your regular phone number, and you can turn on the Google Voice features.
Do you know, but you know, that's, Dan, the whole point of that is they're trying to strip away having to pay for the cost of your phone. So you have to be really careful. When you install Google Voice on a Sprint phone, it's going to ask if you want to merge your Sprint account with your Google Voice number. And what Sprint's trying to do is alleviate having to pay for the actual number and leaving that to Google to pay for.
I didn't do that. I had my Sprint cell phone number first.
But you have to be careful. The whole point of that was to trick consumers into porting their account over to their Google Voice number, so Sprint didn't have to worry about paying the fees to carry their number.
I think they buy a block. I think that in my case, I could always go back.
Pay for it. Somebody's paying for this number, whether it's Sprint or Google. Somebody's paying for it. And
Right. What Sprint was trying to do,
what Peter's
Alan.
pointing out
Yeah.
is Sprint has transferred the cost to Google.
That's smart.
If you fall for it and you port your whole account to solely your Google Voice number. The great thing, though, I thought you could use Google Voice with any phone and still carry two phone numbers on your phone. Am I incorrect?
Yeah, sure you can.
But
So
what
that-
I can
that's-
do is, I've had the ability to do SMS for a long time.
But you can always do that. That's not just Sprint.
No, what I mean is I don't even need to bring my phone in at night. I can make phone calls in Gmail. I can answer the phone in Gmail using my computer.
So
and
I do that
That's
too.
Google Voice.
I can go
That's Google
to
Voice.
full desktop and do SMS. I can't do MMS. I can't send picture mail.
That's Google Voice, Dan.
That's called Google
Yeah.
Voice, Dan.
Right, but why are they saying that SMS is coming to Google Voice? I've had it forever.
They're not saying SMS is coming to Google Voice. You know,
They're saying it's coming to Hangouts.
Talk about the topic instead of talking about Sprint.
So I don't know
then
what the
we
hell
could
I'm talking
discuss
about.
what is actually happening here.
Okay, so go ahead, Alan. Since I don't know what I'm talking about, you can
Okay.
take the
so
lead.
One of the announcements is that what is everyone has been waiting for since Hangouts became the chat tool.
Why?
When it was known as Babel, was that SMS was going to be coming to the Hangout program. So you'd be able to use one program known as a Hangout and send messages via SMS, send messages via Google Voice, send messages via what used to be called Google Chat. Everything would be in one client. It was all unified. You wouldn't care how the message got to the other person. It would be wonderful and easy to use. And when it rolled out with only replacing the Google Chat part of it. Didn't replace the SMS part, didn't replace the Google Voice part. So now they're finally saying they are finally rolling out the SMS part of Google Hangouts, and they still haven't integrated Google Voice. And even if you've got SMS, it doesn't mean that it's going to show up on your desktop Hangout. It's just going to show up in the phone Hangout. And all they're basically doing here is saying we're getting rid of the SMS client on Android phones.
Now, I've got a question, and this relates. Now, bear with me, Alan.
Okay, Peter.
Is anybody running 4.3 right now? Or I know Moritz is running 4.4.
I'm
Okay,
running
in 4.3, have they fixed group text yet? Because that's very important. Can you participate in a group text from an iPhone user?
I haven't
I don't know,
tested
I've
that
never
yet.
tried.
Because, that functionality, if Android's not going to be able to encompass that, and Hangouts can, if I were Google, I would say don't let the OS do that. Make them use the app. And then they can start engaging in these iPhone conversations, which are threaded with multiple users, is something you haven't been able to do in Android up to 4.1.
I don't know. I have multi-user Hangout chats, and I've had that for a while, I feel like.
With Hangout chats, but if you ever get a MMS message from an iPhone user that has multiple recipients, if you use iOS, you can respond, and your MMS response will go back out to everybody with the metadata that shows who you sent it to. However, if you're on Android and you receive a group text, you'll see that it was sent to all the people in the group, but if you reply, it'll only reply to the sender. The problem with
so we can test it.
I have an iPhone and an Android. Who do you put a
I
number
mean, I
in
can
the
give
chat?
you my number, and you can send me a group SMS.
Do it in
Well,
the
here.
pop-up chat, not in the comments on the, in case I screen share again. Not in the chat. Do
Oh,
it in the
okay.
pop-up chat.
Okay. Yeah, just send me your number. and all.
Let's try this out another time so we don't.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but that's important. I mean, it'll encompass that. But if Android's not, then that's a huge reason for Android users that may not use Hangouts to start using them. This SMS functionality, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the addition of it is good. I think it's a very tiny incremental upgrade, though. And, it's clearly trying to compete against, iOS's chat replacement, but it's not there yet. And it's one of those frustrating things where, we know they're working on it. I just wish it was there already. So they've added this feature, and it's a good feature, but it's a very, very tiny step.
Does it remind you a bit of BBM?
BBM. I used to
Blackberry
know what that was.
Yeah,
That used to be a chat system, right?
a long time ago.
It was good though, man.
It
know?
worked. I mean, it
It
absolutely
was fast,
worked.
fast.
It was fast. I think iOS has been chasing it. Google's been emulating it with Hangouts. We haven't seen anything like that on Android, which is, I think, pinnacle. If Google now offering the SMS through Hangouts can persuade the masses to start adapting this as their messaging platform on Android devices, which have huge market share, I think Hangouts are going to be to Android the same way BBM was to Research in Motion.
Well, I think that's clearly what they were trying to do. It's also, for that matter, clearly what iOS is trying to do with their own equivalent system, which is, basically, look, we'll if you've got an SMS number, we'll send SMS. If you've got iChat, we'll send iChat. You don't need to know how the message gets there. We'll
Right.
get it there for you.
Right, and that's what users want.
Right.
Okay,
But
so
to get to the voice part, there was a post from Googler saying that we are working on the voice integration,
Mm-hmm.
and that we're even working on bringing it to countries outside the U.S. It just needs work with the carriers and talk to them and stuff like that, which takes time, and which is one of the major roadblocks at the moment to bring it out later than sooner. So, but
See,
we're
but-
working on that, and we try to get it out as soon as possible.
Here's the conflict and the confusion, is that we have a Google Voice client. We've got that Google Voice client that can send text messages. In fact, they made changes to it within the past year even, which shocked me, to improve things. But why can't the naive assumption is that you just take that block of code from Google Voice, take it out of Google Voice, put it in Google Hangouts, and let it do the same thing using the different user interface. That's the that's the naive, and I'll admit that it's a naive assumption,
Yeah.
or the naive frustration.
In the real world, it's not that easy.
I know.
But I assure you that it is coming, and we're working on it. And as I said, there are some roadblocks, and we try to get them out of the way.
So
But the first step, which was easier, was this SMS part. I personally think it's great. I have all my conversations in one app. Either it's SMS or Hangouts chat.
do you know why I keep getting this, Moritz? When I try to sign into my Google Hangouts?
Are you
says
on
couldn't
an apps
sign in.
account?
Couldn't sign in because we couldn't reach Google. Try again.
Are
Ever
you on
since
an
I updated.
Are you on an apps account? I don't think so, right?
I don't even know what that is. It worked yesterday, and it doesn't work today. That's all I know.
You can try to clear the app cache if you know how to get there. But we shouldn't discuss that in the show to bore people away.
I can't imagine I'm the only person having this problem.
Well, I have some reports in my forum about that.
Okay.
So clearing the app cache is one solution. You can also uninstall the latest update and reinstall it. And you can
which
also
app cache?
from the Hangout. So you go to Settings, Applications.
Yeah, I can figure that out. I just needed to know which account. All right. All right.
So the app cache of Hangouts. If that doesn't help, you can uninstall the latest updates from Hangouts and reinstall them. And furthermore, you can do the same for the Play services.
Ah, I saw that the other day for the first time. Google Play services. I've never even seen it before.
Quick note to Moritz: you should adjust your lower third or overlay, whichever it is. I guess it's an overlay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should adjust it because the HD logo covers up the right of Google+.
I know.
Just suggestion there. Couple comments saying that MMS does in fact work, sort of. And then Jeffrey Hellman asks if anyone saw Jon Stewart's dig on Google+. It was pretty funny. It was what was it, Moritz? It was. Did you see it on Comedy Central?
No.
It was something I forget. It was funny. And then Charlie Ellingson's. What do we got here? Google Voice has for the most part been abandoned. I use it, but I tend to use Uber Conference. I don't agree with that at all. I use it constantly. I know a lot of people use it.
No. He makes a point that the Google Voice client was abandoned for a good 2 years, and then they suddenly started doing something with it about 6 months ago. It started getting some updates again, and this included, support for SMS shortcodes, which was a total shock to me. So there was some attention paid to it relatively recently, and there was a lot of hope that that was a good sign, that it meant that it was going to roll into Babel, which became Hangouts. I am hopeful that by the end of the year we will see them announce, as they do every year, that once again calls are going to be free for another year. Oh, and hey, we finally have it integrated into Hangouts. That will be what I'm looking forward to towards the end of the year.
Okie doke. Any other comments on this?
No.
No. All right. So next up.
No, my whole thing is borked now.
It's what?
Borked. That's another technical term.
Yeah, Pam, we can follow up on that after the show or tomorrow after I slept a while. To figure that out.
Thank you, Moritz.
It's a shame Craig's
but
not
now
here.
we are finally at the topic that we all were waiting for, the auto backup.
Auto backup.
Tell us, Moritz.
Well, auto backup is coming to iOS. Woo!
Now, as I understand
So the issue here was because why it's such a big news. I mean, auto backup we have to divide it into 2 parts. I think we have auto backup in general and auto backup for iOS. So the issue on iOS was that auto backup only worked when you had the app open.
That is so cool that when you talk, the circle thing happens.
I know, right? So yeah, it was only backing up your photos when you had the app open. And if you want to upload or auto backup a lot of photos, you don't want to have to keep the app open all the time. So it kind of was a bad experience. This is now going to change when we roll it out to iOS later. That we will synchronize that stuff in the background, so you don't have to have the app open anymore. It will work the same way as on Android. This is the one part, and then I'm curious about Alan's part about auto backup in general.
Then Pam might have a thought or two.
I didn't have anything negative to say about auto backup in general. I think it's one of the most awesome tools that's out there.
All right, yeah, because you were like, we're getting to there, we're getting there.
Well, yeah, because we were totally sidetracking. And you know,
I mean,
what
yeah,
if-
Pam was addressing some issues with like the nudity stuff and so on.
I mean, in my mind, auto backup is probably one of the absolute best features of
I agree.
Google Plus. It borders on like the only really good feature. I use it all the time with Glass, especially.
Is it?
Right.
Is it? He said it was full quality. But that goes to drive and counts toward your space, right? And that's a
yeah,
something.
so we even increased the full size, I think, to 16 megapixel now.
Really?
Wait a minute. Time out. You mean to tell me when you were advertising it as full size, it was actually capped to a certain megapixel?
I think so, yeah.
No.
Some
Son of
photographers
a
were complaining
bitch.
that it was not the original resolution. They had the original picture, but we increased that now, and we are the only service or the web platform that does support those big images.
I thought that full size was the size that it was uploaded at, and if you didn't have it full size, it was 2048 on largest dimension.
Yes.
Yeah, but Alan, what Moritz is saying is even full size was capped until recently.
That's what I'm trying to get out of him.
That's what he just said. He just said that.
I just said that.
Is that documented somewhere?
It is.
I'm
It's
not quite
Hangout
sure.
on YouTube.
No, I remember they talked about it. I think Vic or somebody said it. That
Did he
it's-
say
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
Okay, I missed that one.
at I/O
I
like
feel like
two
I
IOs
had the
ago, I
wool
think.
pulled over my eyes for a while there. I thought full size, if I'm paying for storage on Drive, was full size. But
That's different. I think it
no,
was the default,
what
wasn't
Moritz
it?
is just saying is until recently, full size was capped at a certain pixel ratio.
Okay,
You're looking dubious at that, Dan.
I accept Moritz.
Anyway, I think auto backup is great. And
I think auto backup is awesome. I rely on it for Glass, and in fact, the biggest beef I have with auto backup, and this actually ties in a little with the next subject, is that I'm increasingly relying on auto backup as the way to get my photos into a place where I can do photo editing, and where I can manage my photos. And photo management, I still have major issues with photo management. So before we move into photo management, anyone else have anything on auto backup?
I
Pam?
do.
Peter.
Okay, so you're talking about using this as one of the only great features about auto backup. There are people that would never dream of telling about Google Plus too. I would never dream about saying, "Oh, you should check out this thing. It's called Google Plus." But when I hear, "Oh man, I lost all my pictures on my iPhone," I think, if you had Google Plus on your phone, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Wait, what? What's that? And then I start explaining, well, it's this app, it's got social and all that other stuff, but every time you take a picture, when you use the app, it automatically uploads it to your account in full resolution, so you can do whatever you want with it. No way! I said, yeah, so then you can delete them from your phone, and they still exist.
Except you can't take any naked pictures because you might get an email from Google telling you that you violated the terms of service.
Now,
Don't forget to tell them that.
I didn't know that to be true with private photos.
Well, that's...
Strictly speaking, under the terms of service, that's what it says.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you can't share photos. It says you can't have photos.
I note that down, and I will try to figure something out around that.
Google's not my mommy or my daddy, and
No.
they're not going to tell me what I can take.
This is generally...
I agree
this
in that. Like,
yeah.
as long as you keep them private and not sharing them publicly,
Well, of
why should
course.
we care? Why
Let's
should
all
we care?
experiment. Let's
Exactly.
take a
Yeah, Google's going to ruin the whole,
We'll
the
take
whole
a photo
sexting
of her.
craze here. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I'm gonna have a
People are gonna have to
Kit
go to
Kat.
Snap. People are gonna have to go to Snapchat or something.
Peter. You're kind of you're in Nashville, kind of a wild town. I'm surprised you haven't encountered a blocked photo from your phone.
Dan, I don't know what you're talking about.
Are we naive enough to think that there's any such thing as a private photo on the internet? Raise your hand if you really believe that.
No,
Okay.
but if Google sends me an email telling me that my naked picture that I sent to my husband violates the terms of service, they can kiss my ass.
Yeah, but the reason they're doing that is they don't want naked pictures of you to get out, and they're concerned that somehow that picture might get out.
You
and
know,
so
I
they're doing
I
that to
follow
protect you.
I follow the #1 rule: no face. So they, you know, if I'm smart enough to do that, then that's my business, right? You all nothing. No one has anything to say about that. You all
No,
agree? We all agree.
We always all agree.
Yeah. We never disagree on
Oh, by
anything,
the
I'm
way,
sure.
can someone comment that Alan was right on the auto backup? Because Alan is always right.
Always right. Yeah.
We know.
Self-confidence.
So the next topic we
Hang
had,
on one
and
second,
this
I gotta-
is where I have
Hang on one
I
second,
started
Alan.
having an issue.
Hang on one second,
What?
Alan. I got a quick question. It's
Okay, Dan.
it's not this topic, but it's related to the whole issue of if you crunch your phone or whatever, if it's an Android phone, then you're safe because you can download everything, including contacts. Totally unrelated question, but it is sort of related. There are times when I'll get a phone call and I'll put a name in it, add it to my contacts on my phone, and it doesn't show up in Google Voice or whatever on the computer, and vice versa.
Are you talking about Google Voice or your Gmail contacts? Because they're all linked to your Gmail contacts only when you create the contacts, if you create them as a Google contact and not as a local contact.
Yes, and that's a confusing issue that I keep running into as well.
It's a UI thing, and once you get people to understand it, it's easy, but getting them to grasp the concept at first is a little bit difficult, I'm not going to lie.
Because I don't remember being confronted
So
with
right,
an option of what
right
kind of
here at
contact
the
to
top,
make it. Yeah.
well, it doesn't show it as an option. It just shows it as the de facto way it is. So you'll see right at the top, the first selection there is Google Contact. The
Okay.
other things you could select if you click that little caret are phone. So the ones that you're not finding, it means your default is set as phone. And I believe whatever you tick with that caret is what all your new contacts will start as.
So you don't have to go into settings. You just do that, and then it'll adopt that setting in the future unless you change it back otherwise.
Yes.
I believe that's the case, yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm good on that. Semi-related, Alan.
Or you can buy an iPhone and you can back it up to your local computer, which I do, and then you have everything safe and sound on your computer. So if you lose your phone, you just get a new phone, plug it up, restore from backup, and everything's magically just like it was.
You have a real funny definition
few
of safe and
phone.
sound, Craig.
To me, that's a lot safer than putting something up in the cloud, which I don't control.
Yeah, but how are we going to gain intelligence on what you're doing? I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
I don't
whole-
know. Craig, the problem is actually requiring me to plug my phone into my computer, which...
You
why
can
the
do
hell
it
would I
via
do that?
Wi-Fi
Well,
now.
no, okay, yeah. So Samsung,
Plugging it in is so
Craig,
hard.
Craig.
It's so hard for me to go to my desk and plug it into I mean, well, first of all, I don't have one of those USB things that has to be one way or the other, right? I can just plug it in either way.
That's
Okay,
right.
so that's an iOS thing.
Support that you need to
We
pay
do things
$20
the
to
easy
have.
way, right?
Craig,
I just
Craig,
plug it in.
Craig,
It's not difficult.
Craig, it's a lot more difficult than doing absolutely nothing and getting it magically backed up for you, which is what I do. I don't worry about where my contacts are because
that
they're
works,
everywhere.
I just hope when you actually need it, I hope it works for you.
It did.
it
I've
does.
done it.
It does.
works
Okay.
perfectly.
It does, Craig.
Okay. I wouldn't trust it.
What if you have a fire in your house and your phone is in the house and it burns down?
What if you break your FireWire cable?
I have a sprinkler system that won't quit.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
It's so much easier to get a sprinkler system installed, and every time you walk in the house while you're taking a
Oh,
dump,
man.
you plug your phone
First
in
of
to
all, I
update
have
your crap.
security that keeps
Then to
an
have
eye
the phone
on
just do it.
I have security that keeps an eye on everything. I have a sprinkler system. You know, you try getting near this place.
You know, I'll send you all your. I've got a bunch of SD card. Oh wait, you can't use those.
Careful, Peter, because
Burn.
you don't have Android either anymore.
Salam.
What? I have one in mine.
I don't have one in mine. The Nexus I don't
either.
have SD card slots.
Well, that's what we call
Well,
fragmentation.
then I don't have to get a Nexus, right?
That's
I
what
can
we
get
call
something else.
fragmentation.
No, that's what we call choice, Craig.
I call it fragmentation. I call it a mess.
Anyway, anything
We're
else on
getting
auto
off
backup?
topic as usual.
I think we're done with the auto backup, and we can talk about
Sure.
the other related feature, the photo search, where
The other
Alan was
related
heading.
feature, and like I said, the thing that I like about auto backup is everything is there, so I manage my photos online. The thing that I don't like about auto backup is managing my photos online is a Charlie Foxtrot right now. And
Show me pictures of my dog.
Well, here's the problem, though, Peter. Yes, I can say that, but
Oh my
when
god!
I try to do
Oh
things
my
like,
god! Wow. That worked really well.
how many photos did it return, Peter?
A full 16.
A full 16. I will tell it to do something like, show me photos from last weekend, and it will show me 1,000 photos.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just telling you the first 16 that popped up in Google Now.
Right, well, what I'm saying
That
is
freaks me out. That's
that
cool.
it works well if you're doing little searches like that. And what they announced this week is that they've given it even more intelligence, more keywords, more things that it can find.
Are they your dog?
Yeah,
What,
they're pictures of dogs that I've uploaded. So these are all pictures that I've uploaded. Most of them are of my dog or my
So they're
family's
showing
dog.
it from the auto backup. They're not showing it from your actual phone.
No, it's a Google Plus result. So it's
okay.
it's coming from Google Plus. I've got the focus turned off. You were
So-
complaining about that earlier.
So every picture that from anyone in your circles that you uploaded from last weekend will show up, Alan?
Any pictures that I've uploaded will show up under my photos. Any pictures from everyone else that I know are in my circles will show up.
Show
if
me
I do that
pictures
circle.
of me in a bar.
So if I do something like, show me pictures from last weekend, and I'm not actually sure this exact query works, but if I specify a date, I will get 1,000 pictures, which is great, but it's a pain in the ass to manage still.
Is it accurate though?
Peter, I'm guessing that it wasn't exactly what you were expecting.
Okay, so just to tell you, show me pictures of last weekend. Las Vegas showtimes were the #1 result. So we're not quite there. Now, if I scroll down, it shows
In the
that's-
text
that
bar,
keyword
did it
didn't
say last weekend or did it say Vegas? Did it misread you or did it just?
No, the Google Voice. I'd show you, but I had to turn the autofocus off. Actually, let me switch cameras so I can show you. Hang on.
And I've done it from within the app itself and not done it through Now, and won't try to do the broad focus.
Alan, for me it works with the date.
Oh, I've done it for a specific date. I haven't. Manageable or a totally unmanageable thing. Or a lot of what I want to do is group things by month. So I'll say, show me pictures from October, and it'll show me a few thousand photos. So I kind of like the ability. I like the broad concept of the feature, but I still need a better way to manage it besides getting 1,000 photos dumped in my face. And there have been some improvements on this, but there still desperately needed more improvements. Albums show up in an order that's almost unmanageable.
October works for me as well, Alan.
What was that?
I said if I say pictures of October 2013, it works as well.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't work. It does.
Yeah, but Moritz,
it's
what
not
you're
like
saying,
1,000 pictures, it's
photos
only-
from October.
yeah, but he took 1,000 pictures in October. That's the problem.
It's really inconsistent, Moritz. And I don't know if that's something you have in 4.4. But
Well, I'm not searching on Google Now. I'm searching in Google Plus Photos.
Right,
On
Peter.
Google
If you start from photos and do the query.
Well, then what's the point? You're adding another step. Why don't we natively do this through Google Now? I thought Google Now is the answer to everything in one place.
No, you're doing it through Google Voice Search, which is actually
And
different.
Alan,
Google Now delivers you the photos without you asking for it.
Alan, do you say that you actually really take 1,000 pictures in that
Yes.
time, or okay?
I will. It is not uncommon for me to take a couple of hundred pictures in a weekend with glass. Because I just shoot pictures. I shoot pictures first, and I manage them and edit them later.
So what would you like to have improved in that
The sorts of things that I would like to have improved, and I have talked to Google about this as well, I've given the feedback, is the ability for me, once I have 1,000 pictures, to be able to go through them quickly and tag them with something specific, with specific information that I want tagged to it. And that's improved, but it still has a long way to go. I'd like to be able to do things so that once I say, show me all of October, I can now quickly scroll through October and see which ones took place on which dates, have it break it up by date for me. I'd like ways that I could say, okay, these albums can be put into the not as relevant to me anymore category and only show me the 5 or 10 most recent albums that I care about. Right now it dumps all of the albums at me. There's a lot of photo management things that they can learn from various photo management systems.
How about
that I think they need to start applying?
How about they displayed the photo, and then you went from photo to photo with your arrows, and then it suggested tags, and then it allowed you to like X, the ones you don't want, and it allowed you to also add one that they didn't suggest, and then it would slowly get smarter about what tags it suggested.
I think that's great. I think the biggest thing is that for those, the tags and the auto tagging and the untagging also need to be keyboard shortcuts along with arrowing, as well as selecting. Because when I'm going through it on full screen, I want to go through it as quickly as possible.
Sure.
Peter, with your thing, did it say when it found the dog pictures, did you have them labeled in an album called Dog Pictures, or did it figure out that there was a freaking dog in the picture? How does that work?
No, I was in
dog recognition.
No, I was in Google Now, which is where I did the voice search, and I believe I searched for "show me pictures of my dog."
And Dan, part of the point of this is that it does know what a dog looks like.
Show me pictures of my dog.
That's the brilliant part of this, is that it knows what
if he
a
hadn't
dog
tagged
looks
them
like.
as dog,
If
he hadn't put that, I mean, that is brilliant.
No, you don't have to tag them. Like, if I would upload a picture in a post of the Eiffel Tower, but the actual file name is something totally unrelated, could be number or a different name, whatever, and I'd write the post and I don't add any text to it, I just upload the picture of the Eiffel Tower, the post will actually get the hashtag Eiffel Tower because we recognize that on the picture is an Eiffel Tower.
Right, and I think the auto detection is brilliant. I love it. The other thing that I'd like to see, though, is the ability to add my own tags to the pictures in addition, in the same way that when there's a post, I can add my own tags to the post. The other thing that I think would be very useful is to have the best way to have virtual folders, so that instead of me saying, "Show me my dog," there is a virtual folder of pictures of my dog. And if there's a lot of them, maybe there will be a virtual folder of pictures of my dog from 2013, pictures of my dog from 2012, or breaking it up into some reasonable, manageable level.
The way that Flickr does it is really good, where you could have what's called sets, you could call them albums, whatever, and then you could also have what's called collections. So you could have a collection of all your dog photos from 2012, for example,
Right.
and those could be in various sets, right? Because there were different events that happened at different times and so on, and they could be, and a photo could be in multiple sets. And a
Well,
photo
exactly. That's why I like the idea of tagging it and kind of combining what Google's done, which I think is great. I mean, it really is kind of mind-blowing that it will automatically look through your photos and identify what these are photos of.
Now, I have a question about that. Do they do the legacy photos? All the photos that I have in my Picasa web albums going back to like whenever, 2006 or whenever it goes back to, are they going to go through and look at all of those?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yes.
Okay, I just did a test.
Just a quick question. Who?
Oh my God!
send
Okay,
the
this is
feedback to?
awesome.
Hey,
This
whoa,
is
hey,
awesome.
Peter, hang on a second. Moritz, go ahead.
Who did you send the feedback to? About
I
that.
believe this is stuff that I've talked about with Brian in the past.
Brian Rose?
Brian Matesh?
Oh, Matish. Yeah. Okay.
And real quick,
Has
Moritz.
he responded to that at all?
I think his general response is, these are things that we're looking at. Thank you for the feedback.
All right. Okay. Well, I can follow up with that because I think it's a great feature request.
And I will admit, some of these things I may not have talked about in the same sort of specifics, and I'm happy to talk about them again.
Moritz.
Yeah, I mean, you can also, like, if you feel like, write up a post with all the feedback, like not only like to the photo search, but even to like other things, and pass it my way, and I can make sure that it's finding the right people.
Okay.
Moritz, on the legacy search, before we leave that, are they going to periodically go through? Because the reason I ask that is, like, I take a lot of portraits of people.
Right.
And some of the people, like the faces, their system might not know yet, might not have learned it yet. Maybe they're not on Google+, maybe they haven't had enough samples, whatever. And so even though they might go through all my legacy photos now, there might be people that they can't guess who that is.
We don't do like well, we have the like tagging of search network, like
Moritz, we lost you.
Your audio's dropping off.
test 1, 2, 3.
You're good.
Hello,
you're
hello?
good. You're better. You're better.
You can't do like a search like show me pictures of Ellen from October.
No.
But it works like with keywords like beach or specific sceneries
let me-
and stuff like that.
Let me
Are
say
they
one thing
planning
for.
Are they planning on tagging people?
Pardon?
Are they planning on tagging people?
Not that I know of. I mean, you have like when you upload pictures, we do the auto tagging and ask you like, hey, is this correct Shipp in your pictures? And then you can confirm that or not. But we are not we're not going to like your thousands of pictures years ago and figure out who the hell is on those pictures and
I'm sure eventually
enable
they'll
you
get
like
there.
searching them by name.
Okay, let me say something real quick. If someone's trying to do this test, if I say, for example, and then I go to Peter, show me photos from last week. Okay, what it does is it gives me a Google result, weekend pictures, award-winning photojournalism from around the world, blah, blah, blah. If you're trying to do this test, do it this way. Show me my photos from last week. And then you'll get them. That's all the photos I uploaded, either auto upload or Google Plus or whatever from last week. I'm not sure which though. Okay, it says your photos, only you can see these results. But say it that way. Show me my photos from last week or whatever if you're trying to do this test. Peter?
Yeah, no, that works perfectly fine. And the other interesting thing is what it's pulling up. It's actually pulling photos up that I've uploaded to Google Drive. Not only, and that's showing you the Google Drive and
Yeah, because the Drive photos are integrated in your Google Plus photos if you enable them.
right. And I mean, all I'm hoping for is just better digital asset management through Picasa. I love using Picasa to manage stuff, and I can't wait until this is more tightly integrated because it seems like everything's in this big Venn diagram, and the circles are starting to overlap a little bit to where it's uncomfortable. Because I'm afraid what controls I touch, what they're going to change in their respective, original
Yeah,
circles.
this is also we're still working on.
No, it's great. I look forward to it improving.
All right, any more on the photo search or keywords?
I just wish there were more controls that worked from Google Now instead of having to go into the photos. I look forward to it. It's going to get
Yeah, I
even
mean,
better.
also this is also something we're still improving. And
No, it's absolutely
with
awesome.
every upgrade to Google Now, you see more stuff that's coming. So
We want more. We want more. Damn it.
I know people are never satisfied.
That's the problem. Is we're not satisfied, but that's why I like Google Plus so much. It
That's
isn't
because you're not
it's
on
done.
iOS yet. If you were on iOS, you'd be satisfied.
Oh,
I'm
Craig,
perfectly
for crying out
satisfied.
loud, I've got
Craig,
iOS.
Craig, let me ask you
It's not
something.
that great.
If you're so satisfied with iOS, then why did they release an upgrade to it? If it was perfect before.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, you're thinking about that. I'm going to go find my iPhone.
yeah.
No, really. I mean, the previous iOS 6 or whatever was fine. I mean, iOS 7 just puts a little glitz on it or whatever. I don't know. There's no real practical
it makes
reason.
things
There are
worse.
tons of practical reasons why there's iOS 7, and if you don't understand that, you don't understand why iOS 6 was so bad and always was.
Okay, so we're good on
I think
this.
we're done with that, and we can continue with the next topic, which is
What
more
time is it
auto
in
also.
Ireland, Moritz?
It is 2:39 in the morning. I'm actually 1 hour closer at the moment until Monday because you're switching your times on this weekend. We did that last weekend.
Okay, so next up is
Auto Awesome is now even more awesome.
it's more asbestos. than it was.
And not only images, also videos.
So okay, so Auto Awesome, I'm very intrigued, and I want to. One of the things it'll do is, but only with Android with KitKat, right? For now.
No, it's 4.3 and up. It is select phones running Android 4.3 and up. Maybe if you look at it the right way, we think. Who knows?
Well, why don't you do a brief?
Why don't we explain what we're talking about first?
Yeah, a brief intro, and then I got a question. I want to know if Craig right now he does a lot of event slideshows, and I told him I said he might want to get an Android phone. Can you only do this in Android?
Let's talk about what we're talking. Let's explain what we're talking about first. So first, there are two new Auto Awesome, three new Auto Awesome. I think it's three new Auto Awesome features that have come in. The first is that given a bunch of photographs that were shot of the same thing with people possibly in front of it, it will filter out the people. It will use these multiple photographs to filter out the people and create a single background image. So it will figure out what is not supposed to be there and remove it. That's Auto Awesome 1. The next Auto Awesome is that
It's called, by the way, Eraser.
Eraser, is that what it's called? Thank you.
Yes.
Peter, mute your mic. Whatever the hell you're doing.
We're gonna see how it works.
Oh, okay.
The second
you just
one,
took pictures.
The second one
Called
is
Action.
designed to capture motion a lot better. So that if you've got a picture of an unchanging background with one person moving in front of that background, it will create these kind of ghostly images for the person moving up with a nice solid still photo on the last one. This is an old camera trick, but they've done it digital, and from the sample photos, it looks really good.
Yeah, to clarify that even a bit more, we have two ways of doing the motion. One is still the animated GIF, and this effect is called motion, and then we have the action one, which creates either the ghosting effect Alan was talking about, but this is when the moving object is actually covering the old position. So in the example, there was like a basketball player approaching the basket. And in this case, when the moving object is covering itself during the movement, it's doing this like ghost effect. If the moving object is moving like sideways, we will have like this effect, like multiply this moving object many times in the picture, like the amount of pictures you took. But they're like in like full opacity.
And does it still create a GIF? Is that the output?
Yes, you get two. You basically get two Auto Awesome pictures.
The motion GIF, the motion is still done with GIF. The rest of them, I think, are still done in JPEG, I believe.
Is it GIF or GIF?
Oh yeah, they're JPEGs, but you get like all the awesomes. It's like not you get either or, you get all of them.
Yeah.
Is it GIF or GIF, Alan? Because this was a big thing last week.
I really don't want to spend a half hour debating whether it's GIF or GIF.
Vic was using the pronunciation GIF, so let's put it like.
And I'll be honest, we should have gotten rid of this file format ages ago. So I really don't care what the name of it is. It's called antiquated.
PNG.
It's a GIF. Now, are you saying that you can do a picture like a GIF, but do it as a JPEG?
No, you can't. There is a JPEG extension for it that nobody supports.
PNG, well, that's the preferred format, isn't it?
Yes, but it doesn't have motion.
Yeah, more and more pictures on Google Plus. When you download them, they're actually in WebP.
WebP does have support for this, I believe, but nobody uses that either.
Okay, so the auto slideshow thing where it will make like
here's the final new Auto Awesome is Auto Awesome Movies. And what it will do in this case, and it's a little vague to me what exactly it will do, is it will take movies and still photos that you've taken and uploaded to Google Plus and put them into an auto-generated movie with auto-selected background music. And then you can tweak this to change the duration of some of the stills, the music that's pulled in, the tone of the music, the lighting that's been applied to it, a bunch of other things. The part that I don't understand, and I still haven't gotten a straight answer on this, is I understand that those controls for for tweaking the Auto Awesome movie are only available on select Android phones running 4.3 and up.
Why
But
can't
it's
you
not
edit
clear to
on
me-
desktop? What the hell?
Well, let me get to that. I'll rant about that in a minute. But it's not clear to me if the generation requires an Android phone or if it will generate an Auto Awesome movie that you just can't tweak.
And where is
I
it
haven't gotten a
stored?
straight answer on this.
Is it stored on
I'm not
YouTube
sure
or is it
either.
stored on your Google Plus videos?
Of course it's stored on your Google Plus videos. What's YouTube?
So you'd
But
have
have
to
you seen
download
it in
it. If you wanted to monetize it, you'd have to download it and upload it again.
Have you guys seen it in action?
No. Well,
would
we
I have
saw the
not seen it in
demo.
action because apparently my 4.3 Android phone is not one of those that is supported, or I can't find it.
Wait, what is a Google Plus video? I don't understand the difference between that and YouTube. I thought it was all the same thing now.
No.
Okay, so
Why,
here's the
why
thing, right?
isn't it the same?
So here,
Google
nuts.
owns YouTube. Google owns Google Plus. Why isn't it the same? Why do we have to do these jump to this extra thing? You know, we used to be able to block or circle or go to YouTube with one click. Now we have to do 2 clicks. We got to go to the little thing and then click that and then click again. What kind of crap is that?
You're
Pam's
getting
on
How is
fire
that
for
advancing
Jesus.
anything?
Pam, you're getting dangerously close to suggesting logic.
No, listen,
Wait.
Pam. One good thing is if you have blatantly copyright infringing material, I think I would upload that. It's a photo. I mean, it's in your photos. It's not photos and videos. Now you have photos on YouTube, so you would upload it as a photo, and it would be a video that looks like YouTube, but it's not. And I don't think they run it through the same copyright stuff. So if I ever have a blatantly infringing thing, like if I'm singing karaoke, for example, right, and I uploaded that song "I Let Her Lie," and I did it. I didn't want to put it on my YouTube channel because I'd get a ping. So I put it on as a Google Plus photo, and they don't run an ad against it, and it doesn't ping me, and it doesn't affect my YouTube account. So that's the way I get around if I want to upload me singing a song that is just could not be more infringing as far as copyright. But the thing that is this was one of the sexiest features that Vic announced, because I'm going to ask Moritz, Craig Shipp, he goes and does many events. Every weekend, he's doing one this Sunday, and he uploads them. You can find them on he puts them on Google Plus or the videos he'll put on his Area Guides YouTube channel and on Frederick.com, and then you go choosesarasota.com when he's in.
So
winter.
Moritz, why don't you demonstrate this new?
Yeah, demonstrate
photo
it, and then I got a
editor?
question to see if this is an
Yes.
option for Craig.
So this is the new Photos app. I don't have that many pictures on my Nexus 7 here, but I used it to have a bigger screen. And you have this. Let it focus. If it does, it does not. Let me try to.
Okay, so if I go to my new Google Plus app, and I go to Photos.
Yes. I tried to switch to manual focus real quick, so I don't have to wait for it. There we go. So you have this little camera. How do you call that thing?
Clapboard, they call them.
Clapboard. Yeah.
Okay,
You just
so
tap that, and then you can select the pictures you want to have, or pictures or videos you want to have in this movie. So usually you select like pictures from one event.
so Moritz, I'm looking at mine, which I've now got on here, and this looks like the correct screen, right?
No, click on your camera. It should
What
be
camera?
The tab camera.
Oh, click on the button that says camera.
And still not there?
Nope.
Am I in the right spot?
You don't have. It doesn't look like you have the new app, Peter. Oh no, yes
No,
you
but
do.
he's already in the camera menu.
As I say, all this is advanced, right? It
But
doesn't-
anyway,
it
let
doesn't work on my
me
phone.
continue. So from here, you just select the pictures you want to have in the movie. So I just select those 4, and then I tap select up in the top right corner, and it will start generating the movie. And once it's done, it shows me like it's done, and I can start playing it. And if I don't like the effect it used, I can just easily swipe left and right to switch between different styles and themes which are affecting the transitions, the filters on the video, and stuff like that. You know, if you want to have like an old 8mm film kind of thing, you know, with the grain effect, and so on. And now someone is playing music.
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble.
So
Well, wait.
and-
If that's music that Google used, then that means it's copyright free.
For that purpose.
So
Or licensed.
if the music that we choose, you don't like it, you can tap on the note, and it will bring up a menu with like a bunch of songs you can choose from, which are all licensed or Creative Commons or whatsoever. And you can browse through different categories or use the suggested ones. You can easily switch between them, select them, and go back to the movie, and it will replace it. And once you're done with your video, oh, by the way, you can also click on the edit button, and then you can, you know, rearrange the pictures if you want to. You know, if they're like in the wrong order, let me zoom out here a bit. You can just drag and drop them around. You can also add a title to it, which will display in the final video.
So Dan touched on the question. The big question here is, when will we be able to do this in the browser? And of course, then we would be able to do it with photos that we take with a decent camera, like an iPhone 5S, and upload.
Well, you can still do that, although we're not talking of upload 5S. But anything that gets uploaded to Google Plus
You can use it.
will be able to be used. These are Google Plus photos, not photos that are on your phone.
But there's no browser interface yet, right?
No. And as usual, I can't talk about upcoming features or stuff we are working on. So
Yeah. So when they
here's
come
the-
out with
here's
the
the thing.
browser interface, then we'll be able to take our decent photos that we uploaded into a set
you
and
can
make a
already
movie.
do that. Once your pictures from a DSLR or whatsoever are uploaded to Google Plus, you can use them on your mobile.
No, on your Android. Be clear here.
Yeah, on your Android.
If you
And-
have
and
the
not even
correct
on your-
Android phone.
And not even on your Android. It's on
That's
your Android.
correct.
It's on select devices running
Yeah.
Android 4.3 and higher.
No, 4.1.
I thought it said 4.3.
I think the video thing is 4.3 and up.
Oh shit! Are you serious? I can't
So
do it
here's
on
my
phone?
question, Moritz.
I
Right
can't
now,
even do it on my phone.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't either.
here's my question, Moritz. So right now, Craig goes and takes 500 photos, and he brings them into Final Cut, or someone who didn't have that could use iMovie, and you do the Ken Burns effect, and then he adds music, and he posts it, right? And so there's some time-consuming process there.
Right.
Then one experiment he did, he called me up, and Flickr has a wonderful slideshow Ken Burns type effect thing. It's kind of different, and it's cool. So he actually did one where he chose what photos he wanted in the slideshow, and then he just did a screen capture at full 1080p, and just captured the Flickr slideshow, saved it, and then edited it, added his branding, and uploaded it, and with the music bed, right? So what was exciting about this feature is this would basically do it by itself and create it, and then you can tweak it later. But it'll add their music and everything. Is this an option that would actually produce a pretty good looking
1080p?
Yeah.
It's 720p though, but
Oh.
I
That's
think
not-
the
that's
results
not
are
too
quite
bad, though.
decent. So there are already like a bunch of examples on Google Plus where people posted their all the awesome movies. I still have to experiment a bit more with that to have some more footage and like do a combination of like stills and videos. But
Now, if you do a video, can you trim it? Like, can you?
yes,
still-
you can trim the length of each clip.
Okay.
Actually,
You can define the whole length of the video.
I was going to say even better, and this is an important one for you, Craig, is that instead of trimming it, what you actually do is you set the length of it, and what it does is it adjusts the various scenes in between and adjusts the cut points to match up with the music. So, and all of that is done for you automatically. So it determines what you've selected. You want scene A to be longer than scene B and scene C, so it will adjust them accordingly and make sure that the transition happens at a point in the music that it makes sense for the transition to happen. So it syncs those things up for you.
Okay, I got a question. Let's say he's at an event. Let's say he had a camera that was capable. It was either on Wi-Fi or it had LTE. There's like the new Samsung NX camera that's coming out that's going to have an APS-C sensor and full Android on the back, so you can upload all kinds of apps, including or download all kinds of apps, including Google+. So theoretically, let's say that he is out covering 4th of July parade, whatever it is, and he was on Wi-Fi or an LTE camera, if that exists, but somehow it was uploading as he was taking pictures to Google+. At what point does it stop? In other words, does it wait till the next day? I mean, would it make the movie repeatedly as he added more photos?
You have to then tell it to make the movie, Dan. It just, once they're uploaded, then from what I understand, you use your phone to create the movie.
I think it does it automatically and informs you when it's done, then you
No.
can tweak it.
No.
Is that not correct?
Moritz, can you
This is
actually
something
answer
I'm
that?
not 100% sure of. I heard people saying it's doing it automatically as well.
That's the thing.
So
Like,
far,
at
I
what point
thought
would it
it's just
stop?
a manual thing that you have to trigger from your phone.
And what app do you run? Because I'm updating. Is it Google Plus? Because I got 4.3.
Google
It's a Google
Plus.
Plus app, yeah.
Okay.
But the app is still rolling out. So
So if my app is, I
and
got
the people that got it early, they will receive another update because we had a bug in the first version we pushed after the announcement. So people that got it really early, they will have to update again.
I got an update dated October 30th. So does that have it in there or not? Probably on the Nexus 7, which is 4.3.
I mean, the functionality should be in there. I don't know exactly what the bug was. But as I said, it's still rolling out. So
So
give it
going back to
a
the
couple more
legacy-
days.
Go-
But it should be on Alan's phone. I mean, what phone are you using,
Moritz.
Alan?
Go.
I'm using the Galaxy Nexus.
If this is as cool
Should support
as I think it's going to be, this is actually the thing that might cause Craig to get either a Nexus, some sort of Nexus device, or to get
No, I'll wait for the web interface. But so here's my question on the legacy photos. This is what I'd be interested in doing: is going back to an album in Picasa Web Albums. I guess it's all the same thing now. Go into my Google Plus and dig back and go back. And let's say it's an annual event, and the event is happening next week, right? And I've got photos from 2007 or whatever from that same event. That happens every year. And I go back to that big set of photos, and it'll already select the best photos, right? I already have that option. And once it selects the highlights, I guess they call it, then will I be able to make a movie from those highlight photos?
I think so. I can do the test. But continue talking while I'm testing.
Yeah, and so that would be cool. If it's so quick and easy to do, why not do it? I mean, there's no downside to doing it. I don't typically make movies out of photos. You know, slideshow movies. I typically use video clips to make movies. But
And the neat
this
thing,
would be
of course-
something that would be quick and easy to do.
The neat thing, of course, Craig, is that you can do both.
I know, but I don't have the problem is I don't have the clips from the albums that we're talking about. Hypothetically speaking, you know, the old albums. I don't have the video clips in with those. They were always kept separate. So I'd have to then go and find the video clips and put them in. So that'd be more work, right? It'd be a lot easier for me to just say, here's the highlight photos, just make a video out of that, and that would be a piece of cake. And if
So,
it
okay,
takes
I mean,
minutes,
I can select that one. Oh, I'm in the
Okay,
book.
Moritz, what version of Google Photos should I have in order to get this?
I can tell you in a second.
Here,
So you have it, Peter? You've seen it on yours?
yeah, I have it on my Nexus 7, which is running 4.3.
Okay.
now how old is your Nexus 7, Peter?
It's the new one.
Okay.
So I am on version 4.2.2.
Okay, that's the version I got, and I don't see it.
Why do I have 4.3, Alan?
You're ahead of your time, Dan.
We're not talking about the Android version. We're talking about the Google Plus version.
Jesus. Wait, there's a harder way.
So I don't know. I guess we'll discuss that offline.
Yeah, but you
again,
can select your old highlights from the photos and.
This kind of goes to one of the questions that I had when this first came out. Is they were saying, select devices running, Android 4.3 and up, and I said, what does select devices mean?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Nobody was.
I can follow up.
Well, I'll be talking to Brian next week. I have a funny feeling.
Yeah, if I can't get anything earlier, then try your luck.
Anyway, so I don't know. The feature is obviously a cool feature, but I'm with Craig. I'm kind of disappointed that this is phone dependent because
I'm not.
Because I don't use my phone.
Who the hell is
I don't-
going to edit a 500 video slideshow, Peter, on a phone? Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing. If you're going to take the time to take 500 high quality images and make a nice video out of it, and you're the kind of person that's going to sit down on a computer and know what you're doing, I really would hope to God you wouldn't rely on some automatic feature that stitches them together like Google Plus or any other product like that.
No, what's cool is if
Hopefully-
you're at the Macy's
but
parade,
Peter-
it gets it up quicker, and then you can
Yeah,
always go
well-
back and tweak it later.
Well, also, but Peter, let me address that. Here's the deal. I've got all these legacy photos that are sitting there doing very little for me, right? And if I can snap my fingers almost and create something that's pretty awesome looking. Now, again, if it doesn't look pretty awesome, then yeah, it's not worth doing. But let's say they did take, hypothetically speaking, 100 photos, and they made something really cool out of it. And then I could share it and say, hey, this event happens next week, everybody. Here's just a little sneak peek of what you're going to see next week at the Brunswick Veterans Day Festival, right? And then I can post that to my Twitter and post it to my Google Plus and so on. Isn't that better than doing nothing?
Here's what's different here. There's a big generation gap between, not really a big one, but there is a generation gap between me and a few of the people in this Hangout. And there's definitely a generation gap between Google's demographic and the aim
Peter
for a lot of these
Wisely
products.
Peter Wisely doesn't name names.
Yeah, a few of the people in the Hangout. But no, I mean, seriously, that's the thing. You've got to remember, 10-year-olds don't know what textbooks are. They sit in classes with mobile devices, and everything is now, they don't have a cache of photos from 10 years ago that they're interested in editing. They want to edit the photos they took this week, and they want to do it while they're sitting and waiting for something to happen.
Peter, you have a valid point there. The problem is those 10-year-olds are using Chromebooks as well, and this doesn't run on a Chromebook.
Well, here's what I'm going to... Moritz isn't allowed to comment on forward-looking statements or any future releases. I mean, we would be dumb not to assume that this is also going to be available in a desktop format through the cloud, which means it's going to be limited that way.
Peter, here's the problem. I think that's a great assumption, and I'm sure that sometime in the next 10 years they'll get around to doing that. But it's, I have this great laptop that I use called a Pixel.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest, you're telling me that this little device is more capable than my Pixel right now.
Look, I'm not saying that it's more capable. I'm just saying that it's more eagerly adopted.
Peter, I'm
by-
still waiting to hear the relevance of the generation thing to a slideshow of an upcoming event that a whole family might be looking forward to attending, and the slideshow giving them a sneak peek of what they might see at that event. Why would
what Peter is saying?
But that's a good use case, Craig. But I don't think that's the use case behind the vision of the product.
Craig, what Peter is saying, I think, and he's got a valid point, is that the people who are going to be most using it are the people who aren't allowed to be on Google+. I mean, the people under 13 years old.
Hey, Peter, you've got that lag issue. We just got a comment from David Archer. Are you using the enhancements on your video?
No.
You got the original on?
Yeah. Do I seem lagged to you? I seem lagged to myself. Let me change my camera and see if that.
Or maybe it's
so
maybe
Alan,
I think it's the maybe it's the beer.
I was getting a
seriously
lag. I was getting comments that I was lagging too. So it might
Okay,
not just matter.
Alan.
Craig's point's right on the money, man. Because let me tell you, I've got photos on Flickr for years when I was covering Obama, when he was a senator, all kinds of events,
Right, but
football
no,
games.
you
If I
and
could,
me, you know?
if I could upload those to a Google Plus album and have this thing crap out a video with music,
You're able to.
and then
You're gonna be
download
able
it from
to.
the Google Plus photos, slap on
And
my
you can't-
branding.
You're going to
and
be
upload it
able to. That's going to happen. But to get people to adopt this and get excited about it, you want to get the people that are the most intuitive that are going to be able to pick this up without being told how to use it.
And those folks are
intuitive
taking the
users
photos with their
are the-
phone. That might be their primary device. And
Right.
so I could see, and for
People
whatever
can't
reason,
even-
they did it first on the phone, and they'll,
People
sometimes they
can't
do.
even figure out how to use Google+. How do you think they're going to be able to figure
That's
out
fair,
how to edit
but for whatever reason they did this, and we know that it's going to be on desktop. It's going to be iOS and Android down the road. It's just they have to build the UIs out and tweak it and fix it. But that for whatever reason they were done with this first. And remember when they do these announcements, I remember that great line from Rumsfeld when he was criticized about like families having to send armor over to troops in Afghanistan. I mean, just this absurd situation. And he said, when you go to war, you go with the army you have, not the army you want or wish you had. And when they do these announcements, they ship what they got. Like I/O,
Well,
the date's
and
set in
the
stone
other
ahead of
thing-
time. And
the
if
other
something's
thing
ready,
is-
it's not. If
Dan,
it's
the other
ready,
thing
it's
is
not ready.
a lot of these features are marquee features where it's just like you go into the Chevrolet dealership and you ogle the Corvette and then you buy the sedan, okay? Most people are not going to use this period. First of all, most people don't take decent photos that warrant even being in a movie. They're shaky cell phone pictures that are all blurry and so forth that they share on Facebook with their friend. Their friend goes, oh, wow, that's great, and then that's the end of it. I don't see these kids being creative and creating movies.
You don't?
So on and so
What-
forth.
Are you? Do you know what
I mean, there
Vine
might
is?
be
Are you
1%.
kidding me? Have you ever heard
Craig,
of
you are
Vine?
1%. 1%.
Craig, you've
1 out of
fallen-
100.
You're gone.
Craig, you're an
1 out of
old
100.
white guy. You don't know anything.
Craig,
No, Craig,
I'm
you're
sorry.
way
They're
off.
not creating content.
Yeah, they are.
1%.
You're-
1
Are
out
you
of 100.
kidding me?
No.
99 out of 100, Craig. It's
Craig,
1 out of 100 for
Craig,
your generation.
You
Craig,
must
I
be
know-
hanging around with a group that are really creative then.
No, tons of people. I mean, I look on
very rare.
Facebook, and there's a lot of crap quality photos, and there's some great photos. But
1% are great.
I
No.
think that
Craig, I got news for you. Kids are doing their reports with videos these days.
Is it-
We've got people in school. I mean, this is what kids are doing all the time.
is it?
I don't see them
What's your
sharing them on
definition of
Facebook.
great, Craig?
Of course
Is
they're
your-
not sharing them
it
on Facebook.
depends on the
They're sharing them
audience.
on Snapchat.
If you're trying to sell it
or
to PBS,
Vine.
if you're trying to sell it to PBS, yeah, they're not great. But if it's so that the extended family and friends can enjoy it, it could be a bunch of pictures you took at karaoke or at the football game of your little league game, your t-ball game.
we get back to this whole notion that Google Plus was a ghost town. And you know what the funny thing was? What percentage did we
It is a
guesstimate?
ghost town, Peter.
What
It absolutely
Great,
is.
and that's exactly what you don't get is the majority of the content that's exchanged on this and other social networks are not exchanged publicly.
There's
are more-
nothing exchanged on Google Plus. There's nobody here. It's you and me and the other people that have been here since day
Craig,
one. A
Craig.
few others. Nobody.
Craig, I'm
no
sorry
real
you're
people
wrong
are
on
here.
that. Totally
No
wrong.
real people are here.
Craig, here's the thing. If you look through my stream, it looks like I don't do a whole lot here. But I've got news for you. I use Google Plus to communicate with my family and my coworkers almost exclusively, to the point where I don't use it for public posting anymore.
You are in the
I'll say, oh, hey, I'm at the Hallmark store.
Peter, you're very rare.
No, I'm
Craig, he's not as rare as you think.
I'm in the majority of users of this platform.
All
do
right,
not
raise
use
your
it
hand.
publicly.
Anybody else in the show, raise your hand if your family is on here. Raise your hand. Alan, your family's on here, and Alan. And that's it, too?
My husband's here, but no one else.
I'm proud to say that but your husband never posts, right, Pam?
Publicly.
He never posts, period.
He only posts to me.
It doesn't matter if you're posting. It's a way to consume content. It's a way to listen to content.
And Alan's
my
right.
Mom
I'm
calls,
proud.
My mom calls me and leaves me voicemails. It doesn't mean I call her back.
I'm proud to
Peter,
say that
Peter,
Alan's
Jesus, I'm
dad
not
circled
buying
me and I circled him back. And Craig and I frequently communicate through Google Plus. We are the 1%. And I have several Bangladesh followers who are very
No,
active. in this
Peter is
space.
saying it's 99%. He's saying it's 99%.
No, I mean, look, more people are on Facebook than Google Plus. I think that if you look at where they started and where they've come, they're
There's no difference.
There
Dan.
is a
I've been here
difference.
for
No,
2
I
years.
think there's a
There's
difference.
no
There's a difference.
Dan, I think you're
Nobody
devaluing.
is here.
I
Craig,
think
just because
you-
nobody cares about you doesn't mean that nobody
How
cares
come
about
they're all over
Adger.
my Facebook? How come when I post the same content on Facebook, I get thousands of likes, I get shares, I get it up the yin yang, right?
Harold Carey has the same.
Craig,
Harold Carey has the same
Definitely
circumstance.
the exact other way
experience
around.
anything.
Peter,
I post
Don't
stuff on
give me that. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Peter.
Craig, I post stuff on Google Plus and I get great engagement on there. I post the same stuff on Facebook, I get 0 engagement.
Yeah, but you're
Because
a male
it's
developer.
a bunch of techies.
You're
it's a bunch of
No,
techies.
I can post
It's
about
not
something
real
totally tech
people.
unrelated. It's not the point of tech posts. It's
We
We're
like
not
you.
real
it's the
people.
point of your audience. Like,
Yeah.
you build
I'm
up your
not
network on
buying it.
Facebook,
Craig,
so therefore
Craig,
it's sure that you get more engagement.
I'm
on
Well,
not
you
Facebook.
are an
buying
edge
it. The
case,
real
though.
people.
To be fair, Moritz, you're an edge case because you were a Google top contributor and now you work for Google. So
Well, time out,
obviously you're going
Dan.
to
Yeah, but he wasn't
Let's
before.
go, everybody. Time out.
Go to
time out.
Peter.
But he wasn't
Time out.
before.
Peter, then Pam. Peter, then Pam.
Dan, what do you do for a living?
I'm a newspaper publisher.
What kind of newspapers?
Local
The best.
community newspapers.
So if you ran those stories in the USA Today, do you think they get a lot of traction?
No, nobody cares. I mean, it's
Holy shit, Craig, that's your problem. Wow, we figured that one out. Okay, moving
Peter,
forward.
we're comparing apples to apples here. First
Yes,
of all, I've
yes,
got more
Facebook
people.
is a small
Peter,
community,
Peter,
and you're posting stuff about a local audience.
Everybody
So you're
that I
getting a
go
local
to-
engagement.
Peter, everybody I go to at these events, I give them my business card. My business card, my website has links to all of the above: Twitter, Facebook, Google+, prominent links. They can go to any of them they want to find the content and to comment on it and share it and like it. It's their choice. They can go anywhere. I have it on all the platforms. By far, 1,000 to 1, they go to Facebook and tag themselves and share it and download the pictures and so on and so forth. They have every opportunity to go and see them on Google+. I post them both places, trust me.
Okay, let me do some
Tell me
comments
why.
here about this real quick, and then we'll get back to the lively exchange. David Archer, wow, why is Craig on this? He's like the Hannity to Combs or something, because he is. Let me get my slide ready. Craig is our resident troll. But that doesn't mean he's not right sometimes, and I'll tell you that in my experience, there are very, very few local real friends I have who are active on Google+, like 5, and compared to several hundred on Facebook. So Craig is not insane here. Michael Daniels, Craig, I think your gold phone is ringing. Kadeus, all my family is on here. Of course, Kadeus
Eat
is
your
like
heart out, Android.
Kadeus is like
that's
this
quality. That's like almost like jewelry. That is quality.
Just to be
Kadeus
Eat your
is this.
heart out. Eat your heart out. You wish you could get something like that.
Oh my god,
Kadeus
I
is
got one
like,
upstairs
um,
in my room.
Kadeus-
The reason it's not
wish.
down here.
You wish.
Hey, just to be fair, if my family and real friends were to come on Google+, I would immediately block them. I have no desire.
You don't have to worry about that.
All right, hang on. Let me
Interact
get
with
through
them
like
at
just a couple more here.
You don't,
Kadeus.
Pam, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, let me get through a couple more here. Kadeus is a rare. He's a I think he's a developer or is an IT guy or something, and he lives in I guess San Francisco and Tokyo, and he flies back and forth to do tech stuff.
I think he's more local.
Is
to
he? I
me.
think he's often in Tokyo. He just had that.
He might often be in Tokyo, but I think he's more Southern California because I give him crap about using his phone while he's driving. That he's going to kill me one day.
And I want to, Kadeus, do me a favor. If you can blow up that picture you shared of the Japanese TV crew interviewing you, I want to know exactly what kind of microphone they had and what kind of camera they had. If there's any way you could zoom in and maybe share me the
What Dave
original.
cares about is what the freaking microphone is.
And then he says, Kadeus notes, Craig is trolling you, Peter.
Shocked.
Michael Daniels,
Shocked I
hand
am to learn
raised.
there's gambling in this establishment.
Thank you, Toby. Hand raised. My whole family is on. And then Ken Bruce, one word, communities. And David Archer says, hey, Craig, I posted a stupid image of a meatloaf mummy Halloween food thing. And I've hit over 1,400 pluses, 99.9% from people I don't know. Now, I love
That's
Google.
right, because nobody you know is on here. None of your friends in real life are here. If you have any, go check them out. Ask them. Go down the street, knock on doors, and ask how many of them are on Google Plus. They're going to look at you. They're going to give you a blank stare like you're an idiot. They're going to say, "What Google Plus? What is that?" Every single one of them is going to tell you that.
Craig,
I want
like
my
I said,
Google-
just because
They're
you
not
have no
here.
friends doesn't
They're
mean
not
you don't.
here. What part of they're
Wait.
not here do you not
Wait.
understand?
I work for a major biotech company, okay? And I wore my Google Plus T-shirt, long sleeve T-shirt for Halloween, okay? And everyone was like, "What's Google Plus?" And I'm
Pam,
like,
you gotta
"Oh,
be
it's like
careful.
it's."
You got to be careful. You're almost validating what I've been saying. Be
I'm
careful.
agreeing with you, Craig. I'm agreeing with you without saying it. I didn't want to say it.
I love you, Pam. I love you to death.
They're like, "What's Google Plus? Is that like Facebook or something?" Yeah.
Hey, at least they got half of it right.
Hey, all I need to say is I finally have more followers than the entire country of Iceland. The only problem is 80% of them have more than 5 accounts. And by that metric, I think I'm at about New Hampshire now.
Yeah, and of all those followers, how many of them are within a mile of your home?
I would say about 50.
50. Well, then you're doing pretty
Anyway.
damn good, Peter.
Get back on track. What else is new? I read something about Snapseed.
Yeah, in addition to this, we have to understand that in addition to my rant about this,
When do we get to talk about Google Plus? When do we get to talk about all the pet peeves that I wrote down that you asked me to write down, Alan?
Yeah, we'll get to it. I asked you to write them down before we actually had this event, though. So it's there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there in the show notes. So in addition to movie editing only being available on select Android phones version 4.3 and up, we also have this change that came to Snapseed, which adds some new filtering features. So why don't you tell us about them, Moritz?
I always meet. So we introduced one new filter to Snapseed, which is an HDR filter, which allows you, like, instead of having the 3 different exposed pictures to create an HDR, do it from a single shot, and it uses a pretty new and never seen algorithm to do that, and is in, I would say, most cases doing a good job. Some results look a bit like awkward from what I've tried, but as Vic was stating in the keynote, like with objects or like landscape shots, it's actually doing a decent job. But as it's in the show notes, we only added this HDR filter to the Snapseed app, but not to the Google Plus Photo Editor, where we also have all the other Snapseed filters. But again, we're still working on stuff, so let's see what's coming next.
Now one of the things I'm curious about with this the pseudo HDR is I'm kind of wondering how this differs from shadow brightening, which is an existing feature.
Well, with shadow brightening, you just light up everything that is in shadows, as the name says. But HDR does a bit more, because HDR is not only about like brighten up shadows. It's also about bringing up more contrast, like in clouds and stuff like that. Because usually when you have three different exposed pictures, the human eye can figure that out. When you have like darker spots in the foreground, our brain or our eye lightens them up without washing out the sky and stuff like that. So that's why you do HDR, to have like an underexposed picture, an overexposed picture, to have the whole high dynamic range of the light. And this is what the filter does. It tries to mimic that effect from a single picture, and not by only increasing the brightness in the shadows, but also by increasing contrast and saturation in other areas that otherwise would probably be washed out and stuff like that.
But let's understand, Moritz, that you're much better off using an HDR app that actually does take multiple photos, because if the data's not there, it's not there.
I agree.
Can try to
so
spoof
when
it.
I do HDR, I use my DSLR and I do a bracketing shot with 3 or more different exposures, and then I use the HDR Effects Pro, also by Nix software, in Photoshop, and compose my HDR picture in there.
Yeah, or you can use
But
it.
if it happens that you took with your phone or with a DSLR only one shot, because it was like one single moment and you weren't able to do a bracketed shot, you still have the ability to use the HDR filter to some sort of get an HDR picture
Yeah,
afterward.
but there's an in-between ground. There's decent apps. I know there's the Pro HDR app is available on both iOS and Android. And so if you use that Pro HDR app, it's going to take multiple photos and it's going to combine them together. So that's going to be better using the same exact phone, right, than taking that one shot. Just use that app. I'm just trying to let people know out there that they've got a better option.
Can
They really
can
want
you
that.
can you download Snapseed for a desktop, or is this only a mobile thing?
Snapseed is a mobile-only app. The nearest equivalent you have to a desktop is the G+ Photo Editor, which is based on Snapseed. Shockingly, looks a lot like Snapseed, for that matter.
So I have a stupid question. I have maybe see this phone, old phone right here, but it's maybe a 3-inch screen, 4-inch screen at the very most, right? Once it's turned on. How the hell am I supposed to edit a photo with a screen that small?
It depends what you mean by editing.
Most of these steps are just applying filters. You're not really doing anything but just applying the filter.
Yeah, but I want to do that with my big photos. If I have a big photo, how come they don't make Snapseed for a regular desktop where I can see the big picture?
Well, they have-
Again, back
Oh,
to
you have the
whole thing of
Nix software.
millennials.
You have the Nix software bundle, which you can download for Photoshop, which actually has all the filters in there.
I don't have Photoshop.
Well, but can't you do it in the browser, in the photo editor in Google Plus?
Yeah.
Can't you? Yeah, what's wrong with that?
But we don't have the HDR filter in there yet.
Oh, okay. I
All
see
the
what
other
you're saying.
stuff.
Okay, so if I have Chrome and I can edit my photos using the different, drama 1, drama 2, or whatever, then I just have to wait for Google to add the HDR stuff to that, right? Is that what you're saying?
But please, Pam, don't do that. Get the Pro HDR app for your phone and take the picture with that, and then send it up to Google Plus. And then if you need to do more,
I don't think my current phone will support that. But I am getting a new phone this year. I'm probably going to get the Moto X since I have to stay with Verizon. But
you can't get apps on your current phone.
The version of Android that it runs is pretty old, so I don't think that. I think it's still Jelly Bean or something, Hummingbird.
Okay, well,
or something.
Dan has the app also, and he can check the specs and see what version it requires. But it's the
So
one.
what's it called?
Pro HDR.
Okay.
Okay, so let me
PRO
just real quick for the panel here. I don't have access to the video call, so in the pop-up Hangout chat, I just shared the link. I'm sharing to the audience so you can see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to share my screen for the folks. Here we go. This is after I got Craig recommended this app, and it's fantastic. So if you see here, this is actually on the left side. You see what this is with my Canon Vixia camcorder, and that's actually what it looked like. It was a bright day, kind of, and the sky was kind of pale. And then I used the Pro HDR app on my Note 2, and now the Note 2, the photography is not as high quality as the Vixia. The Vixia produces a better and bigger picture, but if you look at it, it made the restaurant beautiful. It made the sky all nice and blue with beautiful clouds, and you could see a lot of detail in the clouds that you couldn't see in the washed out picture. And so what it does is it takes a dark, a medium, and a bright picture, and then it combines the best of all three automatically. And then you can go in, if you want to, manually adjust, but I never do. I never have. So this is just one stunning example of pictures that were taken just a few seconds apart, where one is just gorgeous and looks like, you know, awesome. And then the other one is kind of washed out. So that's what HDR is all about. And so, but this HDR app actually takes 3 different photos with different settings. And, you know, I don't want to belabor this HDR issue, but you really should get an HDR app if you don't have one for whatever phone you have. Go in the Play Store or the App Store and get one and play around with it. Because if you're dealing with landscapes or any kind of photo like this of a building or etc., or anything, if you had if you have a bad backlight behind the person, then this is an option. So there.
Yeah, as long as there's not somebody moving, right? That'll throw it off.
But the app is pretty forgiving for that.
Yeah. As long as
it's
everything's
surprisingly forgiving. But obviously, it's best to put it on a tripod and have a stationary scene.
Well, no,
Sure.
I mean somebody moving in the scene.
That's what
don't
I mean.
the
It's
camera.
I found, Craig, that it's been surprisingly forgiving of that, and then I don't see a blurred action. It kind of figures that out. But you'd have to experiment. But if you're doing a shot of a mountain or what have you, then
Anytime you have real uneven lighting, right? That's where this helps out. Where you got a real bright spot in the photo and dark spots in the photo, and you want to try to even all that out. That's what the HDR is good. And that particular app, Pro HDR, is one of the better ones.
And I'm going to show, while you guys are doing this, I'm going to show another scene here. This is...
What, do you use it often?
I don't. But these scenes here, this is my backyard. And, or within just a short walk off my back porch, the Shenandoah River. And I use the Pro HDR app, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, it shows you these, the skies.
I can't see the picture.
Yeah, you can't see it. The audience can. But it just, it takes that dingy, dull sky and makes it beautiful, and it darkens the bright places and lightens the dark places. It's just awesome. So anyway, what's the status, guys? What's next?
We're waiting for you to finish rambling on so we can actually move on to the next subject.
What's the next topic?
Well, we kind of briefly touched on the Snapseed, so the final thing is that there's some Nick photo
Custom
editing
URLs?
changes as well, which, you know, just about nobody cares about because nobody uses Nick software. But beyond that,
Briefly explain, since nobody uses it, what it is. It's a paid collection of apps for photo, whatever.
it's a paid collection of, I believe, they're Photoshop plugins that let you do a variety of some very specialized and very, very nice, I might add, photo editing through Photoshop.
And I use it.
They work through Lightroom as well, don't they?
Yes.
What about Aperture? Do they have them for Aperture?
Not sure. I haven't tested it with that.
These are great. This makes, I think this makes a lot of these effects a lot more accessible to smaller marketing organizations. Internal graphics design teams that may not have the time or the bandwidth to do these things can do them quickly and cheaply now.
That's a great point. So what is the latest filter that they added for it? I don't even think I didn't write it down. I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest.
I forgot.
Was it the Define?
No,
No,
that
it was
sounds
something
familiar.
with A, I think.
Analog Effects Pro?
Yes. That sounds about right.
Great.
Yes, it was it. So you can, like...
Get the photo you're looking for even if you don't own the equipment.
Yeah, try to have a picture
Effects.
that it was taken with, like, a super old camera or something like that.
Explore the look and feel of classic cameras, films, and lenses. That's what it's all about.
It's okay. So that was exciting and thrilling, and
Riveting.
that covers
Yeah, that was it.
It only took us 2 hours to talk about what it took Vic 30 minutes to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'll just add one thing, and then we can move. If you're interested in stuff like this for video, check out digitaljuice.com. It's kind of kludgy to order from them and stuff, but they
Are
have
they an
some neat
underwriter,
effects
Dan?
for video, huh?
Are they an underwriter of this show?
They're not. I just
They should
that's where
be.
I bought my the template for the intro for this program and the music. And
I think
use them
they
for
should
a lot
be.
of the stuff.
We should get in touch with them.
I'll have my people call their people.
So in addition
So anyway,
to all
but check
of
out
these,
digitaljuice.com for video versions of the stuff. Alan?
So in addition to all of these changes, while Dan eats a rice cake, they also rolled out a much demanded feature, and well, they
Are
rolled out a
rolling
much
out.
demanded feature.
Are still rolling out.
I will editorialize on this in a few minutes.
Maybe
But-
Peter can intro this topic.
It is now possible for both pages and people, or at least select pages and select people, where
Some
they're
people.
pretty
Yeah.
they're pretty broad, to get vanity URLs, and those are URLs that are google.com/plus and then something which is supposed to be memorable and useful. So Peter, what's your experience with this been?
Well, I'm not in the club. Apparently, with 390,000 followers, a verified profile, and more than 30 days on the platform, I think it's actually way over 2 years, I have not yet received the invite to get one for my personal account. However, just today, this afternoon, I got an invitation to use it for one of my pages for a verified URL.
Now, which page was this, and what name did it offer you?
Well, it was McDermottMedia.com, and I was offered McDermott Media. Now, what I'm starting to understand and realize through a lot of the complaints that I've been seeing through the stream is if you do not have a top-level .com domain, there's a suffix to the name that is suggested by Google's algorithm that coincides with the suffix to your domain. For example, if you have heartwatch.org, I just made that up, it will give you heartwatch with a capital O RG, or I'm assuming if it was .net, it would give you a capital N-E-T. Now, a lot of
But
people,
you can change the whatever.
capitalization.
You can change the
Afterwards, you can
capitalization,
decide
and
on
if you've
that.
got funny accents on it, you can fiddle with the funny accents.
But
And also, if you have an accent on one of the letters, it also works with the letter without the accent. So that is especially important for people in Germany with the umlauts. If you have a last name with one of the umlauts, you can easily
With the
Uh,
just
what?
use like an O without the dots, or you can when you have a French name with an E with the accent on, you can use.
Right,
just-
but here's the big problem: is that I have heard of some people who have, even with the .com, get the com added to it. People are trying to get names without these stupid extensions, and there's no way to request anything but what they offer you right now. At least when it comes to pages.
And this is something we are getting a bunch of feedback.
Yeah, about 1,000 requests a day.
And we are looking into that right now really closely, and we're in contact with the engineers and the product teams to figure out how we can solve that.
So,
Now, Alan, what's
Mort,
your vanity URL?
I don't have a vanity URL.
You're kidding me. Now,
That's
do you have
because
more
he-
than
that's-
10 followers?
No,
that
Peter,
have been on
no,
the-
No, that's because he
It is
doesn't
still
like what they
rolling
gave
out.
him.
Here's the thing, though, Peter.
It's
I
because
was
he didn't like it. Yeah.
I was offered a vanity URL, and I didn't like the ones that were offered to me. And
Yeah.
for a name, you can select a different one if you so choose.
So he's
What
waiting,
did
right?
we offer you, Alan? What did we offer you?
You offered me Alan Firstenberg and Alan Firstenberg Prisoner.
So what's wrong with Alan Firstenberg?
That one would have been great.
yeah, what's wrong with Alan Firstenberg?
Well, the biggest thing that's wrong with Alan Firstenberg is it's not what I'm known by everywhere else.
Did you turn it
So-
down, or you just didn't activate it yet? It's in,
I haven't activated it yet. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. I can.
So what do you want? What's the name you want to have?
Well,
Prisoner.
I'm currently wavering between a Firstenberg, which I suspect would be approved if I requested it, and Prisoner, which I suspect would not be approved if I requested it. So I'm debating
Now-
just how much.
Make sure to put that into your feedback post to me as well.
Now, Moritz, as far as these verified domains, can you tell me why the redheaded stepchild of Google Sites, right, a Google product, why I can't put that code that you're supposed to put in, and then they can verify that you have the .com, like I have craigshipp.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
How come they won't let me put that code in a Google freaking site?
I'm pretty sure you can. You're just doing
I can
it wrong.
put it in, but it won't verify. I go to my home page, I click on HTML, I copy and paste the code, put it right in my home page, and it still won't verify.
I have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure it's possible.
By the way, just to add insult to injury, Peter, like the first guy here, except for Moritz, who I think already had a vanity, to get it, was freaking Craig Shipp.
Now, Craig, did you claim
He was
that
like
with
the
your
first
iPhone?
one to get the damn vanity URL before me or
Did
Alan
he
got
claim it with his iPhone?
Yes, but I haven't gotten them for any of my pages, and I've been to all the pages, all of them have email addresses. I haven't been offered one. I go to the About section, there's no banner, there's no nothing. And like I said, half of them I can't verify the URLs that I own because they're Google sites, and they won't let me verify them.
That's funny, Craig, because I have a page that I don't use that much, and it already came through for that page. I have another page that I use more, and it hasn't come through. So
I don't use, well, see, I don't
might
use
be
any of the
random.
pages. Yeah, I don't use
Yeah.
any of the pages, and that could be the problem.
Hmm.
But I have the URLs that go with them, like Hooping Live, we have hoopinglive.com, Hangout 10, we have hangout10.com, so we've got the URLs that match them,
Well,
but I can't
here's-
verify them.
Yeah, I just received a invitation to link my other website, my top level domain, now has a vanity URL. So, just to hang up on my personal account at this point.
Maybe you don't exist, Peter.
Could be.
Well, you're too big a heavy hitter. They're trying to, measure 7 times and cut once when they've got somebody as important.
Here's my theory. I think I caused a problem with the algorithm because if you notice, my name is Peter G. McDermott. Well, my name is not Peter middle initial G McDermott. It's first name Peter space G last name McDermott because there was originally no syntax or platform for me to enter a middle initial character. Now, the reason I wanted to be Peter G. McDermott as opposed to just Peter McDermott was for search engine optimization. So it would be easier to find me and I would have the same name across multiple social media profiles. So now I think this %20 is really kicking this whole thing out of whack at the moment.
That's certainly possible. No, I don't want to go into names tonight. I really don't. I'm tired.
No, that's fine. No.
I'm tired, and we're already, 2 hours into the show. So there's only 2
Oh,
hours
wait,
left.
there's one more thing. There's one more thing.
Good.
Why require that we type the plus? What is the difference? Why not just let us do google.com/CraigShip? If somebody doesn't type the plus, just redirect it. You know, a lot of people are going to forget to type the plus. Why require it? You know, this is 2000 and what?
Well, you know why. You can argue that it's bad, but the reason is so that they know it's not an official Google URL. It's a hot link to a
It's still a
social
URL.
media page.
It's still, it could still do the same thing. It could just redirect.
So why do you have to put an @ in front of a Twitter handle? I think it makes sense, and I think it reinforces the
Jody,
brand.
you don't have to put the @ in when you're using the URL.
Absolutely.
No, not with the URL, but if you shorten it.
Well, but this is a URL we're talking about.
Well, but here's the thing. It's a URL. Who freaking cares? URLs are for linking. They're not for typing in. Vanity URLs are freaking stupid.
Some people are going to type them in.
They're
I
great
have
for
to mention the auto gain control works really well with Alan.
If anybody ever chooses to come voluntarily to Google+, they might type in the URL without the plus. I'm just saying, it might happen, and they're going to get a page not found as it stands right now.
By the way, Michael Daniels suggests a vanity URL for you, Craig. Google.com/plus gold phone Chromecast lover.
You guys should see. You guys should see the comments on my gold iPhone review, the best phone ever. You should see all the Android trolls coming in there.
Does it
saying
have
how
more
great their
views than
Android
your?
phones.
Okay, so you did a video on how to change the battery in your key fob thing. Last I checked, it had 4 views. Does this one have more
That's right.
views?
Well, it's up to like 10 views, but the iPhone one has like 25,000, and a half of those views, or 3/4, are Android fanboys trying to go in there and say that an Android phone is as good as an iPhone. Can you imagine them trying to make that argument?
You know, it's funny. These videos, if they go viral, you can make a lot of money.
Not a lot.
Coming up on Pam's topic, and she seems to have gone out for another drink.
Oh dear. All right, so
We may have to return to it later.
All right, so we'll switch on to the Google Barge, and then we'll go back to Pam in a moment. So apparently there's this giant barge, and then at first they said it was a data center, and then a local TV station says...
Well, hang on, Dan. We talked about the barge a little bit last week, and we have to remember one thing. What Google is telling people is absolutely nothing.
But the local TV channel 5, I think, the latest speculation, I mean, this is not gospel, right, is that what they're doing is it's a portable store, and I guess there's a second one now, right? One's off Portland and one's off
There's apparently
San
one that's
Francisco.
been discovered off Portland, Maine as well.
They're going to
Similar
find these.
configuration.
How could you
Not
like
Portland,
discover
Maine.
something so big? Apparently, what it is, it's a barge, and what they've done. This is the latest speculation, which may or may not, may be wildly inaccurate, right? But it's they took a bunch of these storage containers that they put on ships that'll fit on the back of an 18-wheeler, and then they can put it on a ship, and they're building a easily dismantled and reassembled showroom store. And one thing that one report that one of the guys who was like there welding said it's not going to be a public store. It's ugly there. And then the latest thing was it's going to be this glamorous nightclub on top. So I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. But the latest rumor is that it's going to be a Google Glass showcase, perhaps, with some sort of like stuff on the bottom, and at the top is like Sergey Brin's private disco, and they can like disassemble it in San Francisco and put it on trucks or trains or whatever, maybe the Google copter, and just fly the whole freaking. It's just this crazy thing you would never hear except from Google. This is just
Here's the
completely
thing.
nuts.
Glass has totally lost its vanity, so I would not think this to be too tightly associated with that. And that's another topic we've got to talk about, but I don't think that's sexy enough.
That's coming up next.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest case that this has nothing to do with glass is that there is one of them in Portland, Maine. Which,
Oh, it wasn't Oregon. It was Maine.
It was Maine. At
So
least
they're going
I
to
thought I
conquer
read
the
it was
coasts
Portland.
I
from.
thought it was Oregon.
No, it's Portland.
It's Maine.
Portland what? There
Maine.
are several Portland cities.
I think it's Maine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Maine from what I read today.
Okay, so any Moritz is still here, right?
Yeah, but he's not
Yes.
going to comment.
Well,
Moritz,
yeah,
will
what
you
I'm
tell us
saying,
the
though,
He's
secret
troubleshooting
purpose?
for me.
I
He's helping me with the Google
comment.
site issue.
I
Do you
can't
even
comment.
know, Moritz?
Nope.
He's
Is
helping
it
me with
that
the Google
secret?
site issue.
What they're doing is they're actually going to Ireland to pick up all the people that work there and bring them back over to the U.S.
The wolves.
Yeah,
They don't have snakes, but they have wolves.
that's all it is.
And as McDermott's, we know all about Ireland,
We do. Yep.
especially if it involves potatoes or beer.
Yeah, or whiskey for me.
So,
So moving right along, any
Well,
theories
wait
on
a
this
minute.
or thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, what I read today was that evidently the Los Angeles Times picked up the leases, and on the lease it says that the barges are for fabrication of a special event structure, an art exhibit only, and for no other purpose. So their conjecture was that the barges are to be used for a retail store for glass.
Yeah, I don't.
But they could be repurposed for whatever product, right?
Right.
I don't buy it as a retail store, and part of the reason I don't buy it as a retail store is, and we'll be touching on this as the very next subject, is that there's been an increase in the number of invitations going out to join the Glass Explorer program, and they won't need to show up at one of the existing glass base camps.
Are we sure? Have we ruled out that this is the big early 2014 push for the Nexus Q?
We know that it has nothing to do with the Nexus Q because if it did, they would be round, not square.
It'd be the desk like the new Mac Pro
It
computer.
looks like a trash can.
Yeah, it's pretty badass though. I'll tell you. Okay, so anyway, the thing though it's interesting is we assume this would be some floating thing, this concoction, floating food court of sorts, but I guess it could be dismantled and shipped wherever they wanted, right? Like if they wanted to do something in the middle of America in Kansas.
No,
or,
because they're welding the thing together.
I thought that the latest unverified rumor thing, and this isn't like from some crazy rumor site. This is from like Fox. This is.
Try
They said that they
again,
could
man.
that the whole point of using the shipping containers is that they could ship them. I mean, they could dismantle the whole thing and assemble it, like go on tour, and sort of their response to the Apple Store, where they could have a traveling Apple Store. I don't know. It's kind of far-fetched. It's kind of cool though. You know, it might happen before Loon happens.
Any other thoughts on this from anyone? Moving on then.
This was like the favorite topic from one of these guys, from John, and we're treating it harshly.
Well, what does John have to say about it?
He said, "Ooh, my favorite topic, the garbage barge, the Google barge."
You know, I think it's going to be exactly that. It's going to be an art exhibit. And by that, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be immediately or soon available to consumers. Google's been innovating a lot of things that are next generation, and by next generation, they're a good 10 to 20 years out. But I think they might finally have some things, like perhaps the autonomous car, which are close enough to being plausible, maybe not quite yet possible, where they can say, here are the innovations we've been working on, and getting people on track and excited about these things. Because I'm going to tell you what, a lot of the things, another topic we're going to talk about is law and how it connects with some of these devices. So I think getting the general public on board so that we can have our legislators on board with how some of these products are going to interfere with our lives and the laws we have in place is going to be important. So maybe it is just an art exhibit of what's to come, and to get people thinking and making the changes we'll need to make to accommodate these things.
That's certainly an interesting perspective, and that makes some sense. I'm not sure that's what it is, but it's an interesting idea regardless.
Well, we can start the next. Are we
Movement.
done with the barge?
Are you going to barge through?
We've had a barrage of comments.
So,
About the
show the
parts?
comments.
Okay, so I was being beyond facetious. We had one comment.
Wait, here, we've got a comment.
Oh, we do?
John Pankhurst says, I think he's doing it wrong.
I'm sure that's directed at Craig Shipp.
I have no idea. I don't think it has anything to do
Absolutely.
with
Why,
the bar.
I know good and well I'm doing it wrong. There's no doubt about that.
He does have a snazzy jacket. What's your lapel pin there, Mr. Shipp?
Oh, good
That's-
Lord, Dan.
That's from back in 9/11, when the buildings came down. That's one of those like ribbon things.
Is there a
Some people
YouTube
wore.
review we could watch of the lapel pin?
It was
No.
shot on his gold iPhone, Dan.
Okay, so next up is I'm going to go to Alan to lead this topic. The Glass Explorers can now invite friends to join, and one of our viewers, I won't say because it was a private post, so I won't say, but offered to do that. I never did it initially. I'm excited about the technology, but I'm not going to buy a $1,500 pair of glasses, and I think the new version is butt ugly.
Well,
it's
no,
gigantic,
let-
7 of
we'll cover-
9
Dan-
freak thing like I've got a freaking tumor or something.
Dan, we'll cover the new version in a minute, but the first item that was up was that Glass Explorers can now invite friends to join the Explorer program. So I believe every Glass Explorer has been given the opportunity to invite 3 people.
Thanks,
to,
Alan, by the
to
way.
join.
Yeah, how come you haven't invited me?
Well, Pam,
Yeah, now Peter can definitely afford them. So
let's go with this. Pam, I already know what you would say, so I didn't bother asking you.
Well, yeah, you'd have to give me the $1,500 too.
Yeah, besides that, I knew exactly how you feel about glass. Second is I did have a waiting list of other people who asked me first. Fortunately, Jason Salas, who was top on the list, already got his own pair, so I didn't have to worry about him. But I do have a number of other people who I work with on a regular basis who I've talked to about it. So my list is already full.
now
my
have
dance
you
card is already
already
full, sorry.
have you already offered the three? The three invites?
I have offered. I've talked to 4 people so far, and a couple of them have said that they're not interested at this point. But I have 2 out of my 3 spots filled, and I'm waiting for a response from on the third one
Do
still.
you get a commission on that, Alan?
No, I don't.
No commission?
No.
I mean, I have to tell you, I'm sorry, but the idea that it's like the Glass Explorer program is like elite little crew, I take offense to that. I think it's, first of all, I don't like the name Glass Explorer. It reminds me of a group, a Boy Scout troop, okay? We're going to go be the explorers with our glasses. I appreciate what you're doing. I know you're a developer, so you're probably the exception, but, I mean, it just seems like as soon as somebody gets a pair of these glasses, the first thing they need to do is take a picture and change their profile picture, even if they're just trying it on for 10 seconds. And I don't know, I just find it to be kind of...
Gauche.
Yes, thank you. That's a good word.
I think there, I don't know. I won't say that there isn't a lot of that. I will say that a lot of the non-developer explorers that I've worked with have a lot of really good and clever ideas. And they have been trying to explore what you can do with the device beyond just, oh, hey, I'm going to take a picture of my lunch.
Or I'm going to take a drive
And
today
also,
to get arrested.
Jody, look at it this way. If somebody wasted $1,500 of their money on these things, right, they should be given the opportunity to gloat a little bit. My gosh, they're out $1,500, right?
But they're
So
exclusive.
let's cut them a little bit of slack.
Says the man with his gold iPhone.
Yeah, but that's functional. Here it is. It is absolutely beautiful.
This
tell you
is
what-
functional.
what-
This is very functional.
I
Greg.
mean, I would probably use them around the house, maybe. But I certainly, when I go out, my phone is on mute. I'm doing my work. I don't want anything to distract me in any way, shape, or form. So I wouldn't use them.
Craig, I absolutely agree with you, and that's why I use it.
And John Pankhurst, yes, there is a cost to the glasses. It's $1,500.
Yeah, this is you're not joining a program and getting a freebie out of this. This is an invitation
But think about it.
to buy something.
You're saving at least $400 depending on where you live because you don't have to fly to either LA, San Francisco, or New York to pick them up.
Really?
Good.
You don't have
Are
to?
you eating beef
I
jerky?
I
The
thought
barge will
Big
come
house.
to you. The barge will
Kit Kat.
come to you.
The barge will come to you. That's right. It's going to come up the Mississippi, down the Cumberland, and I'm going to go meet it at Riverfront Park and pick it up.
Somehow I don't think
Nashville
so.
Tears.
So, Peter, are you getting a pair?
No, I'm like the other Mick in the room. Fuck that. I'm not going to give Google $1,500 to evangelize a product that I, not as a developer and not as a technologist for my company, have any use for. I mean, great, it's cool, it's a novel, but my God, if that thing comes to market at $1,500, they've just nailed the
How
coffin
do you
shut
know
on
you
anybody
don't have
buying
a
that.
use for it? How do you know you don't have a use for it?
Because I have a cell phone that I put in my pocket, and I'm perfectly fine to take it out and look for it. Now, that's going to be ubiquitous in a few years, and I'll be the only jackass that pulls my phone out of my pocket to check my notification.
Yeah, because we'll
But
all
I'm going to be honest with you.
Wrist.
I think the newest Sony watch is 10 times more practical than glass in terms of general acceptance, in terms of battery life, and in terms of the feature set that I'm looking for.
As he literally eats the new Android in front of us.
I'm eating it.
No wonder you don't have the newest version.
Oh my God!
Let's
It's
not
come
bring
to
up
this.
fragmentation again. Come on, let's leave
It's-
that alone, Dan. I mean,
It's
I
the
know you
end
wanna go
times.
there.
It's the end times are nigh. Oh my God.
Fragmentation is a result of innovation, and I'm just going to leave that at that.
Everybody is going to have a different use case for glass. Some people, it's going to be something that's extremely valuable. If you're out and about and you need to be in touch and you need to keep an eye on things literally, then I think it's fantastic. When I go out, I want to be the opposite. I do not want to be in touch. I want to just get my work done and then get back.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. It'd be cool to have the thing, but for like 5 minutes it'd be fun, because I'd walk in, they'd be like, oh, my God, that's that thing, but the new one is just this gigantic thing.
Okay, since
It's
Dan
not that
wanted
much
to go
bigger.
there-
It's just got the ear thing that looks ugly.
Since Dan keeps wanting to go there,
Bottom line, though,
I think it's like 7 of 9 without the boobs.
But wait a minute. If somebody gave it to you, Dan, if someone just said, "Here, take it,"
Oh, I would take it too.
Oh,
I would take
sure.
it too, Jody. Absolutely.
I
and
wouldn't
Craig,
get
you would take it.
$1,500 for
But
it.
Jody, I wouldn't use it.
Yeah, you would.
Wait.
If I could get a
It would be
Tesla,
just like all the other junk I've got laying around here that I
Like
don't
your
use.
Chrome-
But Jody, Craig's got a really good point. Number one, I can't wear this to work. Number two, I can't wear this to most of the social functions I go to.
Why
Number
not?
three, they're simply not accepted.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you see Scoble even
I
wore his in
think
the
that
shower.
I bet if you were not
and
in,
Scoble isn't exactly accepted.
if you weren't in New
That's-
York,
Yeah.
if you weren't in New York or San Francisco or something like that, if you walk into some bar,
I'm not talking about bars or just regular social settings.
That's
I'm
the
talking about
only
more
place that
high-profile
Dan-
events.
That's the only place that Dan walks into.
Right.
They were
Well,
on the
no,
runway in Vogue.
I'm talking more high-profile events.
Troll.
Things
it's-
that I go to
yeah.
associated with work. And if I'm to walk into those, sir, you're going to have to leave that in the car. People want their privacy respected, and I think this is a huge hurdle, which takes me back to my theory with the Barge, is there's got to be some approach on public policy with all the new innovation that's coming out. The general public's got to get on board with this stuff. But that's another topic a couple more down the
it's
road.
got
aren't
they got to
they-
lower
aren't they
that
coming
price
out with
point
the-
though.
Aren't they
Right,
coming out with
yeah.
a shelf version at like something like $200? Is that
Glass?
yeah, the shelf version, not the
I'll pay
Zero version.
$300. I'll pay
Nobody
$300.
knows what the consumer version is going to come out as.
Also, remember
Okay.
that you're getting the update for free, so you may end up, we don't know, you may have 2,
Well,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different versions
so
for that
so let's
$1,500
They don't have to
initial
turn the
payment,
first
Now,
one
right?
back.
now when they
Yeah, we have
give
to
you
try- let's go on to the next subject, guys.
wait. When they give you the new version, the new glass.
That's the next subject.
Wait,
We're
can
on
we
it.
talk about photos more?
but
Can we
do you
talk
get to
more about
keep-
photos and
Do you get
photo
to keep
apps?
the old ones?
Guys,
You
can
get-
I introduce the subject?
No, just
Go
go
ahead.
Obviously not.
Go ahead, Alan Firstenberg.
Ah! Okay, so the
What a
other
glass
news that
hole.
came out this week is
Nom,
that
nom, nom,
all
nom,
of the
nom,
Glass
nom.
Explorers that currently have the first edition of Glass will
Glass
be
hole.
eligible to turn it in and get the next
turn it
edition of
in. So
hardware.
you don't get to.
No, you don't get to. You don't get to keep your old one. You have the option of keeping your old one, but then you don't get the new one.
Now, wait a minute.
Alan?
Can you do a $1,500 hold on your credit card for an advance RMA, where you hold on to the new ones, you put $1,500 in their card, they send the new ones, then you send it back before they release it on your card? I know that's how you do an RMA or a replacement.
Yeah,
if
it's a good
defective.
question, and details haven't been released yet.
Alan,
Okay.
well, here's what you do. You go there in person to do the exchange, right? And you just do that little sleight of hand thing, right? What do you mean? The old glasses were sitting right over there. You
I
set
didn't
them off to the
touch them.
side. I don't know where the glasses are. You know
There
where
is
the
one.
glasses are?
Craig, there's one problem with that, and it's called a MAC address.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah, the glass is traceable, so they'll start noticing where it wanders off
Yeah,
to.
but if you're going to keep it as a keepsake, to sell on eBay,
Pull the battery
50
out.
years from now, as a
They'll still
relic.
find it.
Yeah.
So the other thing that Dan seems to be harping about, that we know very little about the new hardware. One of the things we do know, however, is that it comes with a earphone piece that plugs into the USB port that's on it, and lets you use it as an earphone. Because one of the complaints is that for some faces, for some people, the built-in speaker isn't loud enough. So Dan seems to think that this is the ugliest thing in the world, and he's probably right. He
Where's
also
the
seems
photo?
to
I gotta
think-
find the photo so
He
people.
also seems to think that this is a mandatory thing, that once you put glass on your head, it will permanently glue this earpiece to you. It is optional. If you don't need the earpiece, you don't use the earpiece. It's really pretty simple. And other than that,
I wasn't bitching about the earpiece. I have no problem
Yes,
with an
you are.
earplug. No, I wasn't.
you said it was ugly.
Yeah, the earpiece
It
is
is
the
ugly.
part.
It is ugly. That's
Yeah, the earpiece is the ugly part. So if that's optional, that solves the problem.
Right.
It
is
plugs
ugly.
in
I'm
and
not debating
unplugs.
that.
But yeah, the problem. See, here's the problem though. With all the buzz about the new version, the only thing anybody knows or talks about is it's got an earpiece now. So hopefully, when the specs come out, that'll
Yeah, they certainly
eclipse
shouldn't-
this whole
they
buzz about
certainly
the
should not
earpiece.
have released the photo with the one with the earpiece. They
Right.
should have released the photo without the earpiece.
Craig,
Well,
I'm going
that
to say
looks
this
exactly
once
the
tonight.
old
I
one.
agree with you.
Once again, if you would go to, let's say, Cumberland, Maryland, which is an absolute dump, okay? Apologies to our listener from Cumberland. If you were to go there and you were to hire a PR expert from Cumberland, right, who's not going to be the sharpest tool in the shed, right?
Probably an
Even
Android
he
user.
Even he would come up with, he or she would come up with the suggestion not to show the photo of the one with the earplug, okay? So it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to know that that was another fiasco.
No, I don't think it's a fiasco. I think most people
Absolutely
actually don't
it is.
care.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about the ugly earpiece.
We talk about a lot of totally stupid things on this show. I mean, we keep talking
Other
about your
stupid
iPhone.
other people do too, though. That's the problem. We're not the only ones talking about it.
Let's talk about the Chromebook I don't use anymore. Let's not.
Craig could talk about the Chromecast that he doesn't even
I
know
can't
where.
find it. I've even lost the box now. I can't even find the box.
You bitch for 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I used it for half an afternoon.
Oh my God.
We can bring Ellis in with a phone call, right?
Let's go to
Sounds
Des
like
Moines.
it's-
Des Moines,
It
you're on
sounds
the
like
air.
everybody's excited about bringing him in. They all
No,
piped up and said,
Dan-
"Yeah, do it."
What? This one isn't even a. I can't even figure out what tangent Dan went off on this one.
No, I just got,
Why tangent?
even for me, I'm
Why
surprised
tangent?
Alan. No, we just got in the pop-up chat. Ellis said he wished he could join. He's in the largest metro area in the country, he says, but his cell phone coverage sucks and he can't join via Wi-Fi.
Is he on Sprint?
I don't know. But I
That would
noticed
explain
that
that.
your camera,
I
that's
just
one
hope
thing that
he's not
pisses
in
me off
Cumberland,
about
Maryland.
Sprint.
That's all I can say.
But he was on earlier. What did he move since the
He was
show
having
started?
problems. He said he was
He
having
said it
problems.
sucked or something. So I guess I can't call him or.
What's the next topic?
Why? You want actually us to stick to topics, Craig?
Let's talk about
what's
the new photo editing apps on Google Plus.
No, so the next one is another glass topic. Pam, we'll get back to you because we had to skip you earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely preserve the Pam Rants thing.
So the next topic is still glass related. For those of you who have seen Cecilia, who is one of the glass explorers, she got a speeding ticket this week, and attached to the speeding ticket, one of the other violations that she apparently encountered was driving with a monitor affixed to her forehead, said monitor being Google Glass. This is apparently, under some readings, a violation of law in California. Pam, I see you itching to say something. Go for it. Go for it, Pam.
Well,
Like
It's okay.
I said on Jason Salas's post about this, I don't think that you should be operating any device while driving.
How are they operating it, Pam? How are they operating it? That was my beef with somebody who said, like, you can't be if it's off. Well, Alan can correct
well,
us.
first of all,
If you're just wearing it.
you can't tell it's on or off when you're a freaking cop driving by.
So the cop is supposed to assume that you're doing something wrong? The cop is just supposed to make that
So you're guilty until proven innocent. That's bullshit.
This is the big government that you liberals wanted. You got it. You got it.
Look,
Sreek.
I have an IOTI.
You got the big
Hold on,
government that you wanted.
here, let me give you an analogy, and then to advance
Well,
this.
Dan,
Hang on, I have my beautiful note.
Talk because you text and drive.
No, I don't.
That's not cool. Oh.
I do it at the red lights. That's legal in Virginia.
That counts. Well, it's not legal in California.
Well, you're in a crazy state.
It's not legal in
Wait till
crazy all the
Bloomberg moves out there and takes your guns and your big gulps. Okay, so anyway, my beautiful note 2 here with the cracked screen. So I'm gonna show you the
still
ass end
have
of
a
it.
cracked screen?
It's a long. It's a hassle. I mean, okay. Anyway, so I've got an IOTI right on my rear view, right, and so it's there, and I use it for GPS, which is totally legal. And if I get a call, then I can either hit the button here, or I can press the answer button, and that's totally legal in Virginia. But just because the thing's there, now sometimes I'll listen to CNN or other live streams like WTOP News, whatever. Like today, I was listening to CNN because all hell was, the LA airport crazy guy. So I wouldn't watch that. So what I actually do is I'll at a red light or before I get started, I'll turn the CNN live stream on, and I've got this really loud speaker thing, Bluetooth thing, and then I'll turn it face forward so I can't see it because I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to get a ticket and kill somebody or whatever. So I just flip it so I can't physically see the thing, right? But there are times when my phone is just sitting there in the IOTI right under the thing, and it's not on. I'm not using it. And I shouldn't get a ticket for that. And what is the difference between that? And I'm sorry, the technology hasn't caught up to where this cop can write this stupid ass ticket because he doesn't know for sure. So she's guilty until proven innocent. But the problem is that the laws have not caught up. And I'm not sure that with a phone they can tell if it's
it's a relatively new law.
Why the hell would you have glass on your face and not have it on?
Well, it's going to be more of an issue when they're prescription, and that might be the only pair of glasses you have, and you need them to drive.
Once again, Dan, you got it all wrong. It's not about safety. It's not about any of these things. They need more money. You think they can keep that big government in California going without pulling people over and giving them expensive tickets?
You know what? Wait.
It's a money grab.
I've been hit by someone texting on their phone. My husband and I know someone who was killed. Well, knew someone who was killed.
So let's punish the sober drivers because some people drive drunk.
No, I don't think you should be using any kind of device.
She wasn't using it, according to her testimony.
According to her.
Okay, so she's guilty.
Pam, I agree with you in some ways.
I totally agree. She should not be doing texting. Alan can address the distraction issue because I don't know. But if it is on and not doing anything,
the way the law is written is you can't have a cell phone in the front seat of a car.
Oh my God!
Even
wait a minute. That's state by state.
I actually read this the other day, and it didn't say anything about that.
It's state by state. That's why every state has different.
I'm in California.
Right, and I was targeting it specifically at Pam.
So a cell phone.
She's in Temecula.
So a cell phone.
13 miles away from me.
A cell phone face down on your shotgun seat is tantamount to an open beverage in the front seat.
Correct.
Yep.
That's what kind of stupid ass. Just when I think California can't surprise me with.
Well, in Tennessee, you can have an
open
open beverage, so...
But weed's okay, but you can't have a phone in the off position. What if the battery's disconnected? Can it still be in the front seat? Then?
Actually, you can buy devices. You can buy things that the holders that'll put your Garmin thingy right up there by the
Right, your Garmin is legal.
Yeah.
Your Garmin is legal.
Wait a minute. This is
The
what I have.
equivalent device, however, for your cell phone is illegal.
I have the quad lock, and I have my cell phone prominently on my dashboard, and I use it as a GPS because I use the Waze app.
Illegal.
In New Jersey.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. In California, it's illegal.
In New Jersey, they just came out with a ruling that if you are the recipient of a text and you're driving, the person who sent you the text can be accountable.
Good God. How would you
What
know?
the hell? That is the most
Just pay the man
Oh
the money.
God.
Just pay the man
Just
the money.
text
You know?
messages for God's sake at that point.
Pay
Well,
the man.
if you're driving and somebody texts you, and I mean, whether you answer it or not, if they text you and you get in an accident, the person who sends the text, not even the person in the car, the person who sends the text can have liability.
My
So
whole
you're-
okay.
You know what you're going to have to do is put your phone in airplane mode, or they're going to have to make, some kind
Now
of
wait a minute, Pam.
auto mode.
Waze
so
does that. Waze
Pam,
does
Pam.
that. She mentioned Waze. Waze does that, Peter, where you can't do a search while you're driving. Type it in, right?
I want to point something out. Airplane mode will no longer be very shortly here. The FAA just this week announced as long as airlines can prove that cell phone transmission of data signals does not interfere with any of their navigational radio equipment, you can use it from gate to gate the whole way through the flight to do anything but make a phone call.
And
you
so
could
that's
still
why
put it in airplane mode.
that's why you put it in airplane mode.
But
So you
but
don't
here's
make a
the
phone
deal,
call.
Pam. Here's the reason why they won't do that, because they could very easily go to the FCC or whatever, get a law passed or whatever that says anytime a phone is in motion, right, which they know that because of the GPS, right? Anytime a phone's in motion, it can't send and receive text, it can't send and receive data, it can't send and receive phone calls, it can't do anything, basically, until you stop, right? They could very easily do that. But guess what? They're not going to get any money that way. It's all about the money. They want to be able to give you the tickets. A nice big heavy ticket would even be better. $250, whatever, right? It's a money thing. Don't think it's about safety.
Well, no,
It's about money.
Craig, if you wanted to take a conspiracy theory, the real one would be that these laws are put into place to increase more avenues for probable cause to give officers more opportunities to seize and search cars.
Listen,
The more
hold
they're
on,
talking
hold on,
about
guys.
money,
Let me.
The more
I
they
gotta
can do to get money, they're going to do it. Just like these
Listen,
speed
Craig,
cameras
despite
and all
the
this
fact
stuff,
that you're
it's all a
convinced-
money thing.
Craig, let me call bullshit on this. In Virginia, for example, the texting while driving law came about because there was a fatal accident that happened, and the judge couldn't charge the person with reckless or whatever, and I forget what it was, but it was like a couple people died, and it was just blatant texting while driving, distraction, and it resulted in death of one or more people. And there was a big to-do about it because the judge reduced the charge from like vehicular manslaughter, whatever it was, and my facts are, the gist of what I'm saying is accurate, but I don't remember all the facts. But this is a pretty plausible reconstruction of what I read like a year ago. But the judge reduced it. It was like a $25 fine. He said, I can't charge under this because it's not against the law.
And now it's a $20 fine.
And
And there
so-
were already reckless
no,
driving
hang on. But the reckless, it did not apply, or
Sure,
for whatever
if you're-
reason.
If you're texting and you're driving all over the road, that's reckless.
Well, for again, I don't remember the exact facts, but there was this outrageous case, and there was a bunch of criticism of the judge, and then the General Assembly looked at it. They said, well, with the existing laws, the judge was correct, that he had it was a $25 ticket for like killing a couple people or whatever it was, and so they passed the new law, which is you can still make a phone call, and you don't have to use a hand-free device, but you can't text. You can't send or receive text-based communication, email, texting, whatever. And I support that, and I make a point not to do it. But it's not just to say that every single legislator who voted for that was doing it solely for revenue is just complete bullshit from Craig.
It's all total scam. It's a total scam. They already have ways that they can lock up reckless drivers.
You know,
There's a million ways they can do it.
wait.
They
But,
just more
you
they're
know-
piling law on top of law on top of law.
But
just
wait.
give the cop the latitude to see somebody driving recklessly and pull them over and lock them up. I've no problem with that. I have no problem with them enforcing laws.
But wait
they
a
don't
minute.
need to pile law on top of law and hit people with fine after fine after fine, and they're not solving this problem. If they really want to solve the problem, make it so the phones won't do it. Make it so the phones aren't capable of doing it when they're in motion.
They are solving the problem. They're helping the problem because I used to do it.
No,
Not all the time. If I was on the open road or whatever, and it wasn't a safety issue, I would occasionally do it.
Wait, real quick.
But I stopped doing it because of the freaking law.
Well, you're getting your
California-
big government, Dan. You're getting it, and let me know how it works out for you 5 years from now, because it's only going to get
Should
worse.
murder be
Next law is
legalized,
gonna be
Craig?
You're not going to be able to use the phone at all in the
Before
car.
you totally go off the rails.
So here's the funny part about this, right? California also passed a law allowing those Google driverless cars. So
Sure, because the Google driverless cars are safer.
That's right. So we should
So
have
what's-
those everywhere, and then we could text and do
that's
everything.
right.
But don't
Exactly.
they-
So we
doesn't
can
the
sit
law
in the back
require-
seat.
Doesn't
We
the
can
law?
sit in the back seat with our phone and text while the car drives us to work.
Yeah, there'd be no
The
more
law
deal.
requires that a driver be able to immediately override the autonomous feature.
For now, but
Yeah,
that
for
shouldn't
now.
be the case.
Yeah, it's like a
later.
driver ed car for now. So like you can always like override it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like in Jurassic Park, minus the plexiglass over the steering wheel.
But
My,
you know,
my
I've heard
issue with
different
issue
stories.
with Pam is just that I agree
The
with you.
issue with me.
My issue with your argument was
You agree with
on
Pam.
this. No, I don't. I don't think this woman has been proven to have done anything wrong. She was wearing Google Glass, but
Wait,
they weren't.
she
It
just-
wasn't activated.
You can't
She
have,
just
Dan,
got the
you
ti- wait,
can't
wait, wait.
have
She
a
just
little
got the
bit of a big
ticket.
government. You either got to have a big government or a small government. You can't
Craig,
be a little
Welcome
bit.
to the McLaughlin Group.
She just got
Pam.
the ticket. It hasn't been dispatched yet. She hasn't even gone to court yet. So wait to see what the court says. I'm sure that since she was so vocal about her getting her ticket, she better be so vocal when the final verdict comes down when she fights the ticket.
I
If
hope
she's not
it's the
gonna fight
obligation of
ticket-
the state to prove that she was in fact using the device in
Well, no, no,
violation
no,
of the
Dan,
law.
Dan,
no,
stop.
the CHP has a lot of leeway here, and
Dan,
they got her for distracted driving, and I think
That'll be
No, no, no,
pretty easy
guys,
to prove.
Craig,
Don't look at the
shut
data.
up. Craig, shut up. The problem, Dan, is that the way the law is written does not say that you need to be using the device.
What
That's
does it
right.
say?
It says the device needs there needs to be a device.
Nice.
That's right.
So-
it just needs to be there.
It just needs to
I'll
there.
be right back. I have to agree at my phone cord.
So under that exact same logic, in California, having a cell phone in the front seat of a car is illegal.
It's just like
They're
Dan,
Neanderthals.
you can't have a loaded gun sitting there, even if you're not using it, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
They just don't want it to be there.
In Virginia, you can. I got a 357
Hang on,
Magnum.
Yeah,
Hang
but
on.
you
I've
can
got-
for
I
now,
found-
but
I
you
found
won't
the
be able
legislation.
to when you
Hang on.
continue to get the government that you want. You won't be able.
Craig,
Craig, shut up for a
Peter,
minute.
Peter,
I
go
have
ahead.
the law here. I have the law. A person shall not drive a motor vehicle if a television receiver, video monitor, or a television or video screen, or any other similar means of visually displaying a television broadcast or video signal that produces entertainment or business applications is operating and is located in the motor vehicle at a point forward of the back of the driver's seat, or is operating and the monitor, screen, or display is visible to the driver while driving the motor vehicle.
Is operating.
No, the first
No,
part
it
was
doesn't
just
say
has to
anything
be
about
there.
that. Doesn't say anything about that.
The first part is it's there.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this does not apply to a vehicle information display, a GPS, a mapping display, a visual display used to enhance, supplement the driver's view forward, behind, or the sides of the motor vehicle for the purpose of maneuvering the vehicle, a television receiver, video monitor, television or video screen, or any other similar means of visually displaying a television broadcast or video signal if that equipment satisfies one of the following requirements. The equipment has an interlock device that when the motor vehicle is driven, disables the equipment. The equipment is designed, operated, and configured in a manner that prevents the driver of the motor vehicle from viewing the television broadcast or video signal while operating the vehicle. This whole law that she was cited on is basically based on entertainment systems. Just from reading it, you can tell, okay, they don't want people to operate these DVD players that were coming out from Alpine 10 years ago.
Which you could very easily say Google Glass could be an entertainment thing.
Well,
Right, but you could also say it could be a GPS. So I don't think she's actually going to get charged with this.
well,
She's
been
charged with it. She's not
Peter.
been-
Well, no, right. She's not going to be found guilty of this infraction, which is all it was.
But
The-
Craig,
the problem, though, Peter-
I'm sorry, Peter. Hold on. You said is operating. That's what you said, right?
No, the first part didn't say that. It's
Or
either
is operating and okay. Wait, a person shall not drive a motor vehicle if a television screen or any other means of visually displaying television broadcast that produces entertainment is operating and is located in the motor vehicle at a point forward or back of the driver's seat.
So if the glass was not on or functioning if the monitor was not activated, was not operating, then she's fine.
But well, here's the problem with that, Dan, and I mean you'll see this if you go to court enough. The officer's testimony as to whether or not it was on is always going to be taken by the judge over the defendant's.
There's no way in hell they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that some Neanderthal cop could see that the monitor that's like the size of
it doesn't proof doesn't
lemming's penis
matter.
was on.
This
Doesn't
is
matter.
traffic court.
This is traffic court. There's no
Yeah,
proof.
the cop's word is going to
judge
trump
not-
her word.
The judge
The
is
cop's
not going
word
to.
is going to trump her word.
I'll be shocked. How can the
All
judge? How
she
can
has
the cop?
to do is have the common sense to say.
If the
I
cop
was
says
using-
he was
I
able to,
using Google Glass as a GPS.
Alan,
okay, thrown
if you're,
out.
if you're,
it's
if,
allowed
okay,
under 26602.
Alan, if you're driving your vehicle and you had your Google Glass in operation with the little monitor on, is it physically possible for me in a vehicle driving behind you to see that?
It doesn't. No. He didn't establish that. She was speeding.
That's
was the
she's
probable
guilty
cause
as hell
to
on that.
inspect
No
it.
problem.
Yeah.
But the
So
issue of
it
the
wa-
glass ticket, how can he prove that
The
she
glass
had the glass?
was an additional infraction, just as though, Dan, if you were speeding, the officer pulls you over and finds out that you are intoxicated. He didn't pull you over because you were intoxicated. He had probable cause to determine you were intoxicated because you were speeding.
First
Most
of
people
all,
don't
the
get pulled over
display-
because they're
first of
drunk. They
all,
get pulled
the
over because they're
display
doing something
doesn't
wrong.
have to be on for it to be on. Because can't you just command it, okay, glass or something, and then it does it responds?
The issue is whether visual shit was happening
no,
above her eye.
no, it just says operating.
The issue is the
Operating
monitor.
doesn't
If it was
No,
audio or something, it would
That's
be no
not
problem.
the issue. That's not what the law says.
If
It's
you
not-
if you hear what he said operating. It doesn't necessarily say that the screen has to be on all the time.
It doesn't
No, a
say
video monitor operating. It's speaking about a video monitor, so it is speaking about the screen. This isn't speaking about a device that powers the monitor, but the monitor. Like I'm saying, this law, I believe, in its VC section 27602 television was made for in-car entertainment systems. That's what I think this was designed for. However, it does clearly specify, so you know it's been ratified, that it says a vehicle information display, a GPS, or a mapping display. So all she has to do is tell the judge in traffic court, you know, if she does her due diligence to figure out what the law is. Remember, ignorance of the law is not a defense, but goes in and says, Your Honor, you're right. I did have Google Glass.
This
It
is
was
like
turned
if you
on,
had a
and I was
television-
using a global positioning system for it.
This is
and under
BS.
27602, that is allowed.
Okay, so
we're not going to charge you
Peter,
$15.
this is the equivalent of if you had a television affixed, if you had some sort of TV affixed to your dashboard, and the monitor was off, but the audio was coming out.
It's about a
That
television
she would
monitor.
get a ticket.
No, she wouldn't.
But that's exactly the same thing.
No, it's not at all.
I mean, if you're making the argument that it's because it was functioning, but the monitor wasn't on.
But here's
up
the
to
thing,
them.
Dan.
Now, they
here's
could
the thing.
subpoena to
Here's the
find
thing.
out what she was
I don't
doing.
have
I'm sure.
Google Glass. I don't have Google Glass, but I know through reading things online and through pop culture that if I walked up and I'm talking to Alan and I can see a light in the prism of Alan's Google Glass, that his display is probably functioning. So my guess is when the officer approached the vehicle, there may have been something about her attitude or she was defensive, and he decided what they call in law enforcement is a pop charge.
Okay,
or
so
a-
Alan, my question for you is:
Do you know what a pop charge is, Dan?
a pop charge? I have no idea what that is.
It means pissing off the police.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think.
So if you're ever pulled over and you have any sort of attitude, they'll find another reason to cite you for something. And I believe that's what this was. So all she has to do is go into traffic court, say, Your Honor, I was using it as a GPS under 27602. That's allowed. He can't charge her for it. End of story.
Well, but they could also subpoena exactly what she was doing, and Google would have
Well,
to
her
get it out.
biggest problem is the speeding ticket anyway, and she's going to have
Hang
to pay
on.
a couple $100, and she's got to have to pay a couple $100 to a lawyer, and that's the way the system works.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen,
she's not-
listen.
No, wait. My daughter, wait.
Trust
my
me,
daughter
they're
got
going to
a-
get their money.
I'd like
My
to
daughter got a speeding ticket, and it's not just a couple $100 because they charge you court costs and all that stuff. It's $500.
And then
That's
once
a
your
lot.
The
insurance
last one
finds
I
out,
got
you're-
was like 10
Yep.
or 15 years
and
ago.
you get a
You're
point
right.
on your insurance and all
So
that.
you're right. It's a lot of money. It's a money thing.
Especially in
Trust me
California.
when I tell you it's about money.
But
Trust me when I
listen.
tell you
Obviously, there's a financial incentive for some people. I understand that, and a lot of the big government stuff. You're right on, Craig. But to say that the you can't text while driving, or read or send emails while driving, that the pure motivation is a revenue incentive, is complete and utter bullshit. And
That's
better.
the vast majority of these laws. It's all a scam.
But in this, I'm not talking
Don't
about the
need
vast
to
majority of laws. I'm
pile-
talking about this specific
don't
law.
need to pile law on top of law on top of law on top of law. Just tell the cop, you see a bad guy or a bad girl doing something wrong, pull them over and arrest them. That's it.
Part of
you
the
know,
issue- Craig,
and take
no,
them in,
Craig.
and
Craig.
lock them up. Don't make it a thing about just getting $500. It's a scam.
Alan, can if I was driving behind you, and you had your monitor and your Google your glass on, would I be able to tell that driving behind you? Could I see
No,
through your
because you
head
can't
and tell?
see the glass from behind me.
So how the hell can this cop possibly say?
Maybe he was
Unless they
too high.
subpoena
Oh my
records.
God.
To the
If
side.
they
He
subpoena
man.
what she did.
Pulled her over for speeding.
Probable
And she
cause.
had it on her face. It is the same as if I was speeding and I had a joint in my hand.
It's
the
not
same
illegal to
thing.
be on your face. It's illegal to use it while driving.
It
It
is
doesn't
in
matter, dude.
California,
No.
and it's going to be in Virginia. If you keep voting in that big government of yours, it's going to be illegal in Virginia too next. You watch. You mark my words. 10 years from now, you're not going to be able to spit, and
Craig,
you'll get $500
Craig,
fine.
if
Well,
you'll-
in
if you'll
Singapore, you
realize-
can't
on the
spit.
sidewalk, you're going to get a $500 fine in Virginia. You keep.
In Singapore, you're going to get caned if you spit.
That's right.
Don't-
That's right.
So,
So
we all
I'm
agree?
right, and Pam and Craig are wrong.
Move on to the next topic.
that legislation's like 20 years old, but we'll go on.
All right, next up, I'm gonna have to get my own Dan rant slide. Okay, so next up, Pam rants. Right? Are we at that point?
Yeah, we're at that point.
All right, Pam.
Okay,
Rant.
this is at the request of Alan that I compile all these because this week what I did, this is part of my Google Plus week too, is
I'm sorry, Pam, I hate to interrupt, but before we get into this, I just want to point out that under certain circumstances, it is illegal in Virginia to spit.
How much
So-
free time do you have exactly, Alan?
Not a lot, but I do have this computer strapped to my face, which lets me do Google searches. And I go ahead and do a search for Virginia law spitting.
And
Is it a five-
there's lots
is it
of
a
crazy
$500
laws. At Front
fine
Royal, it's illegal
Oh,
to
yeah.
have a condom machine. And the law, it's so old, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. If you look up Front Royal, Virginia, town code, and then do a search for condoms or whatever, there's a law that says it is illegal to have a vending machine for the purpose of dispensing products for the prevention of venereal disease. And if found, the owner is subject to X amount of fine, and it can be destroyed on the spot. So you can't have a VD prevention vending machine. Oh my
All you have
God!
to do is call it a
Wait.
pregnancy prevention vending machine.
it's also illegal to have oral or anal sex in Virginia.
That's not enforced though. I think didn't the Supreme Court? I forget. I don't even know how.
I
it
don't
works.
know. It's not illegal. It's not only is it illegal to have sex with the lights on, one may not have sex in any position other than the missionary position.
Well, if my former attorney Ken Cuccinelli wins,
It's now 3 hours into the
it
show.
might be
Clearly people
illegal
are-
again.
You know, in Nashville, it is illegal to spit on a sidewalk.
Well, I
And
mean,
you
this
must
is
be you have to be 18 years old to play pinball too.
Clint Eastwood literally won the election for Carmel mayor. Obviously, A, because he was Clint Eastwood. B, because one of his main issues, or at least the issue in the media, was that you couldn't eat pistachio ice cream on the sidewalk because people were eating it and dropping it, and he thought that was big government. And so a bunch of guys like Craig Shipp voted him in, and you know, there was basically dried up pistachio ice cream everywhere from then on. It was awful.
But they were having fun.
Absolutely. They made his day. Okay, so Pam, Adger,
Pam.
rant.
Okay. So I did a couple of posts this week on pet peeves Google Plus. At the prompting of a post that I saw about a woman getting kicked off. Well, not getting kicked off. She just chose to leave Google Plus because she was just being harassed too much. And it all comes down to the fact that it's very difficult once you're in the middle of getting harassed to do anything about it. You basically have to suck it up and take it, because blocking, first of all, is difficult. You have to go to their profile to block them, which I guess is difficult for some people to do because they don't want to go and see the posts from the person that's harassing them. There's no just you know how you can add someone to a circle just from notifications or from the hover? You can't block someone that way. So that's not
When
cool.
you say, could you elaborate on, don't name names or anything, or be too specific, but could you give us a better picture when you say harassment? That's a pretty vague term. Because sometimes people will put up I've seen people who are friends of mine put up incredibly inflammatory posts, and then someone disagrees with them, and then they say that that's bullying, that sort of thing. Or is it like an ex-boyfriend just legit harassing? You know what I mean? Could you give us some kind of picture?
It's probably it's closer to the sexual harassment type of thing. Like, here's a picture of my peen, here's a picture of my peen, here's a picture of my peen, here's my phone number, here's my Skype number, call me, I want to fuck you, you're beautiful, blah 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 blah. You know, I mean, it's just constant.
Okay.
And if you block somebody, it's very, very easy to open up another account. You can even open up another account in the same name and continue the harassment. And so then you block them, and then they can open up another account and continue to harass. And then after a while, you know, you just get tired of it. I don't get sexually harassed that way because I just don't put up with it. It just doesn't faze me like it does some people, and I block, and I'll just keep blocking, and it just doesn't get into my psyche like it does some women, especially women who have been victims of rape or any kind of harassment in the past. So I agreed with this, and I think that there should be better controls on Google Plus. And so I asked about, you know, what are your biggest pet peeves about Google Plus? In addition to the blocking thing, the number one thing, believe it or not, and I really wish that Moritz was here, because not that he could do anything about it, but at least he could let someone know, our notifications are borked on both mobile and the desktop. So you either get notified of stuff you shouldn't get notified of, or you don't get notified of stuff you're supposed to get notified of. And
yeah, that's been since day one. Really.
Yeah, that's been a real big problem. And the number two thing was, please give us the option to turn off the frickin' +1s. We don't want to see them. No one wants to see them. I added them up, and at least the people who follow me don't care.
You mean when somebody plus ones one of your posts, you don't want to see that?
No, when somebody plus ones, if you go to your all stream,
when someone plus one's a total strangers post, you'll see the total strangers post.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't care that so-and-so posted a booty picture and you plussed it. I just don't care. Yay, I'm glad that so-and-so got a new dog. I don't care because I don't know so-and-so. So it's that kind of thing. So that was number 2. And number 3 is Alan's favorite. Posts are not in chronological order. I don't care what Google says about that. They say, oh yeah, it's all about the way you set it up and the way that you have the slider set and bullshit. It's not.
They don't actually say that. What they say is they're trying to elevate relevant posts to the top, and the sliders are part of that consideration, and there are other things that are there, and
yeah.
I'll be honest.
If I have someone circled, I want to see their posts.
I'll be honest. I understand not making them purely chronological. There is some logic to that in my mind. What gets me is that I subscribe to people like Vic and Dotra and Jonathan, and I never see their posts. They never come up. They're in either a medium or a high level circle. I engage with them. I plus them. These are posts that I care about. But posts from people who are in my low volume circle that I'm really not that interested in, I'll get flooded with them. So I think chronological is one way to solve that. But really, there's just something wrong with their algorithm.
Well, and it gets worse. So I've noticed that their relevance algorithm is totally messed up now. I mean, seriously, if I go and look at, sort the people who I have circled by relevance, it's like I'm like, wow, I have that person circled? And they're right up there at the top of what the hell? Since when is that person relevant just because more people have them circled than someone else? It's like, I've never talked to that person. I have them circled. I don't even remember circling them. So yeah, they're screwing with the algorithms, and it makes people unhappy because we don't want Google to tell us how to control our stream. What's their point? What are they doing? So let's see. Notifications.
Well, and it also seems, Pam, like they're not doing a good job of controlling the stream. It's one thing if you're going to control the stream. It's another thing if you're going to do a good job. On Facebook, I think they do a pretty good job.
No.
The things that I see
worse than Google Plus, and that's saying a lot.
Well, the things that I see in my stream are primarily people I interact with.
Well, my problem is, yes, it's primarily people I interact with, but I'll see the same post like 96 times.
Yeah.
From the same person,
I do see some posts repeat, but that's usually because some people have made some additional comments in it, and that I've commented in it, and so on.
Or the game post.
Stuff that's relevant.
Yeah.
I've never ever played a Facebook game, and I still get notified every time someone invites me to a freaking game.
Yep.
I don't
get any games.
I will see posts float to the top even when there's been no change to it. There's been no more likes. There's been no more comments. There's been no more nothing. Just Facebook has decided that this post from 3 days ago is, for some mysterious reason, more important than what my friend, just posted about.
Yep. And the very last, well, I do have 2 pages worth, but because it's late, I'm going to
we
only
still have
mention
48
one more.
minutes, Pam.
Yeah. Is Hangouts. And when I say Hangouts, I don't mean necessarily video Hangouts or Hangouts on air. I can't control who requests Hangouts. I don't want the dude from Pakistan to be able to send me a picture of his peen, and I have to go and actually decline that Hangout. It actually looks it actually pops up in the Hangout requests, or Hangout invites, and I actually have to click on it, and the Hangout pops up, and there's his peen, and I have to hit the decline button.
Have you
That's
tried
not cool.
snoozing? Have you tried snoozing the Hangout notifications?
But I don't want to snooze the Hangout notifications. It only snoozes them. Once I turn it back on, they're all there.
That's the only
I
thing
want
that is.
to prevent.
Yeah. That's
See,
the only
that's the
thing that
thing.
has helped me with that is just the 72 hours. You can snooze up to 72 hours.
Right.
I do that about every 2 days, once every 48 hours or so.
Yeah,
I
but see,
snooze
that's
it
not
for
cool. That's not cool. Why does Google want to force me to accept a request from someone I have never heard of, has no good intentions whatsoever, and is basically, it's like Google is forcing me to interact with someone at least one time.
Absolutely, you're right.
I have to get the sentence, or I've got to get the picture of the peen, or I've got to actually see it in order to decline it. And once I decline, of course, I can go and block the person.
I've found that if I snooze completely for like 72 hours, that I don't get any of those things. I found it cures it.
That's interesting. I hadn't seen that.
But then I would not be able to,
And
chat
what I
with
do
Dan during the week.
What I do is, if I actually want to have an interaction with somebody, I have them message me on Facebook, and then I don't
use Facebook.
Well, this is a good use for it, because then that way they'll say, yeah, I want to have a chat with you or whatever, and then you can start a hangout with them, and do kind of like a private hangout with them, and then you don't have to worry about all those other notifications because it's all snoozed, right?
Well, crap! You know what? I could just download some kind of other chat app, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
and just completely turn off Hangouts altogether, right?
Well,
Then
yeah.
then I'd have to get
I actually uninstalled
my-
it. I actually uninstalled Hangouts 3 times on my iPhone. Now it's on there again, but I'm about ready to uninstall it again. You're right. I mean, that's really the best solution, is just to get rid of it completely. Can we do it in the browser? Can you get rid of Hangouts completely in the browser?
Sure, I can, but if I do, then I can't join the show, right? And then I can't join any other Hangouts that I have with my well, I guess you call them girlfriends. I'm not quite sure, female friends that I
Gotcha.
have here, or my husband. If I wanted to have a Hangout with him, I can't do that. I mean, if I uninstall it, I can't
Gotcha.
do any of that
Yeah.
stuff. And I want to be able to control that. And you know what? As a woman, I'm telling you, I have a folder full of peen pics, and only a very few of them were solicited. The rest were just delivered via Hangout.
See, I don't know what this is like, because I got to tell you, if random women started sending me pictures of their boobs or something, I would not be filing harassment claims. I mean, I'd be like, bring it. But I guess it's different for women. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I mean, I'm no Brad Pitt, right? So I don't know what it's like to.
So,
what was the genesis of this? I'm
the
just
truth-
curious. On your
the
first
truth
story
is-
about the harasser, was it someone she had a connection with, or just some random crazy
just
person?
some random guy that just would not take no for an answer. And the truth is that personally, only personally, it doesn't scare me or bother me like it does a majority of the other women. And it's because I've been through some really hellish things in my life, and to me, some guy from India sending me pictures of his peen just doesn't scare me like maybe it would, someone who hasn't experienced.
Well, there's that old
things.
saying, "Sticks and stones will break my bones," but
Yeah, but it's not. That's not okay. It's not okay that women have to be scared and have to be subjected to stuff like that just because Google doesn't have a good way of handling
They
it,
should
and
certainly
because
be
it's
able to block.
it's a male-dominated company with a this is a male-dominated social network, and they don't consider it to be a huge problem because they're like, well, why don't you just block them?
Well, they should.
Who cares
give
if you got to see their pain? Just
See,
block
this
'em.
is what they should
you
do,
know?
and it's typical where there's a very easy solution for this, but these Googlers are in their ivory tower over there, and they're clueless, right? They don't see the forest for the trees, right?
They're
And
men.
So here's the deal. Here's all they would have to do to solve this problem, is they give you an option in your settings. Do not allow anybody that I have not circled to contact me in any way, shape, or form. If I haven't circled them, they can't contact me through Hangouts, through email, through posting to me, through anything. And then a woman that doesn't want to be harassed can simply push that button.
Well,
and now she has total control.
Well, I agree with you, but I also think that there should be something in between that as well. There should also be I don't mind if some random person comments on my stuff, but I don't necessarily want them to be able to send me a private hangout. I mean, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There should be.
They could give you some degrees of that, but I'm just saying that would be the button that the person that just doesn't want to be messed with at all.
Yep.
Push that button, and then you could have, if they don't want to go to that extent, a couple of other lesser things, right? But it's not a big deal. Why is that so hard to do? I mean, that should have been done from day one. But they just don't think about this stuff. I don't think.
Well,
they
look,
even
I think a lot of this is
truth.
this is a semi-edge case.
Wait. Kadeus says that there is an everyone else category that you can change to off. No, Kadeus, I have looked and I've looked and I've looked. There is no way to turn off the ability for strangers to request hangouts with me. There is no way, because if there was, myself, Susan Lewis, and a score of other women would have already done it.
I thought that at some
not.
point I allowed anyone to do that. I thought there was a setting in that. It was
you probably did.
Initiate
in
a
the
hangout.
old chat.
Yep.
in the old Google. I think it was the Google Talk, right?
Right. And it's initiate a chat. If any of you guys can initiate a hangout with me at any time, it'll just pop up on the screen if I have hangouts open. But someone I don't have circled can only request a hangout. I have to go in there.
I tried to do one with you today. I forget why. I tried to send you a message. I think I ended up sending in a plus or a post. It was
to me.
I sent a private post to you about a political figure today, you and Sreek,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I
yesterday.
initially tried to send that as a hangout thing. I clicked on my hangouts, and I typed Pam space.
Oh, I had hangouts off. I had hangouts off until this afternoon.
But it wouldn't even let me send it for you to read later.
Huh.
I typed
That's
your name in, and I did see a Pam Adger, but there
Now-
was no thumbnail.
How did you have Hangouts off? With the snooze function you're talking about?
No, if I go into Hangouts,
Mhm.
I can click the little down arrow, and it'll say sign out of Hangouts. And I sign out of Hangouts a lot, actually, because there are times when either I can't or don't want to just have random people contact me.
Okay, so I don't have to use the snooze. I can just sign out.
Correct. You can sign out, but you're going to have to sign in before you do a Hangout.
So before I do one of my shows, I'd have to sign back in again.
Yes. You can only do a Hangout with Hangouts.
Okay, so I'll just keep using the snooze thing. That works for me.
Part of what's confusing to me is I'm currently looking at the help article on allowing your Google Plus circles to hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it's written certainly makes it sound like, and let me finish first, Pam. I'll tell you when you can reply. Certainly makes it sound like you can say, okay, these circles or everybody but in these circles, these circles can't talk to me, or only these circles can and everyone else can't. It implies that, but if you go to the screen where that's controlled from,
Mhm.
it's who can hang out with you,
Mhm.
and when you customize it, you're given the choice on each circle that circle and everyone else can either automatically hang out with you or send a request. There
Right.
isn't a way to say no. I
No.
don't care about these people at all.
And there used to be.
And there used to be. In fact,
Yes.
it used to be that you had to specifically enable a circle to talk to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking here right now, Pam. If I say, if I go to my screen and I click a new Hangout, and I type PAM, I don't know if you have to do the plus sign, right? You don't have to do the plus sign.
You
no.
you invited me to this hangout tonight as the start, right?
No, I
and-
invited you in a plus. Right now, I've just typed in Pam, Adger.
Yes, but
and
at the
I
start
don't
of
see
this
you.
show, I was the person that you invited first, and we talked, right? While I was putting on makeup.
You're right. So I wonder.
So I think the bigger problem in general is that I think Google does not understand what a circle is. I think that, and that seems ridiculous.
They created them.
They created them, but they don't understand them. A large number of people in Google seem to think that a circle represents people that you want to talk to, as opposed to, in some cases, people that you don't want to talk to.
But it's not even that. I wouldn't even mind if everyone in my circles had the option to at least request a hangout. I'm okay with that. I have them circled for a reason.
But there's
What I'm not okay, I
there's
want...
this everyone else setting that also can't be
Yes.
turned off.
Exactly. I just don't want, some guy just randomly sending me a hangout. Hi.
And this problem
Wanna
has been
chat?
going on since
Do you do
day
new chat?
one.
No, Craig.
No,
hasn't
it
been going-
isn't. They used to allow you to turn it off. I
Yeah,
only
but
want...
but that specific thing. But from day one, women have been getting harassed.
Oh
on
yeah,
Google Plus.
from day
And-
no from day one, like back from way pre-biblical times. I mean,
They've been
this
getting
isn't any
harassed.
different.
They've been getting harassed, and it's been too damn easy for people to harass them.
Yes,
And,
it's too easy and it's too difficult to get them to stop.
And,
Because
and
the
it
truth is,
shouldn't be
Google
that
knows
way.
where these.
It
these
shouldn't be
hangouts
that
come
way.
from.
It shouldn't be that way. Algorithms should be able to pick up that this guy is harassing multiple people.
And they do. They do harass multiple people.
And block him. And then when he goes and signs up for a new account, they should know that he's doing that. They should have an IP address or whatever. They should know that this guy is repeatedly setting up accounts.
Okay,
And the asshole should be blocked permanently.
Yes.
Yes, but, and here's the but, is that it's easy to say you should block based on IP address, and that's a really, really bad way to do it.
Or based on, I'm not an expert, based on somehow knowing this is the guy, this is the bad guy, and we don't want him in this playground anymore.
And my understanding is that there are algorithms in place that deflect a whole bunch of that already. The fact that there are still tons more people who are able to do it means they're getting around a lot of those means. And Google doesn't publish the means that they have in place
sure.
already.
That's true.
Sure.
Because they know people are going to find ways around it.
And I just want to be clear that every single time that I have interacted with anyone at Google about being harassed, harassment in general, or a way to facilitate removing harassment from either me or someone else, they have been extremely receptive. They haven't always been able to do something about it, but it's not that they don't want to. It's only that they are limited as well by either laws
But they
or
might
policy or something else.
They might be placating you too. They might be to your face, oh, we're so sorry this is happening, and so on. And then as soon as they finish with you, they go on to whatever their task they've been working on, and they do nothing.
So I get that. I get that that's possible. Now I get that feeling from you when you're trolling me, and I'm pretty good about picking up on that sort of thing. And I really, truly don't believe that the people at Google are interested in alienating 50% of the population. And I am not a feminist at all. I mean, I think that men and women are different. I think that there's a lot of things that go on in the feminist movement that alienate men and everything. But I do believe that we shouldn't have to put up with crap from men, because men just can't handle themselves. They can't treat us with respect.
Nobody should have to put up with unwanted contact, whether it be a woman or a man. I mean, if somebody is out there and they have so much time on their hands that all they want to do is harass people, right, in any way, shape, or form, repeatedly, I mean, they need to find another playground to play around in, and hopefully Google will come up with some better ways to find these people and point this out to them and say, hey, you got to straighten up or you're out of here for good. And hopefully they'll be able to figure out a way to get them out.
I can't comment on all of the ways that they are doing so and that they have done so, but it's a tough problem. I mean, it's easy in some ways to just say, oh yeah, you should just do this. Yeah. It is harder than that.
See, this is why we really. I'm sorry. This is why we really have to get the fingerprint thing going. I'm sorry. But that's the only way you're going to solve this is to absolutely know who somebody is. So somebody can't hide behind this bullshit identity that they've created, right? And have absolute identification.
But Craig, here's the problem. When the big government comes and sees your fingerprint, they can now arrest you and put you in jail. That's the problem with the fingerprint ID solution.
And it's
the big government is just going to shut you down.
The government already has your fingerprints. In California, you got to give it to them to get a driver's license, for God's sake. So we're beyond that. They've already got your fingerprints.
Now means they can shut you down with that.
I think the biggest problem is what you said, Alan, is Google isn't talking. The biggest problem is Google is fucking secretive as hell, and they don't tell us. Oh, we're working on it, but we can't tell anyone about. No, I don't need the specifics. Mm-hmm. I don't need them to say, okay, well, we'll see, we've got this code. No. I just need them to come out publicly and say, we take this seriously. Jonathan saying that's not good enough. No, I need Larry, I need Sergey, I need, what's the guy's name? The head of Google+.
Vic.
Vic. I need Vic to come out, make a post saying, look,
why don't they do this?
We've read all these complaints and everything. We are taking it serious. They need to come out publicly and say that. They just need to do that.
Here's another suggestion, okay? Let me just float this one out there for an interim fix, right? Until they figure out a way to get rid of the bad guys completely. Here's a possible interim fix. You got the verified program, right? Where some people are verified. And ostensibly, I guess we're led to believe that these verified people, we can reasonably trust. They're not.
Craig, are you verified?
Huh?
Are you verified?
No.
Oh, so you and I are the only ones on the show that aren't verified, right?
Okay, but let me finish. So you've got these verified people, right? Who ostensibly we can probably believe that they're not the ones doing the harassment, right? Let's just make that assumption. That's why. That's one of the reasons why they were verified, is they know who they are and so on and so forth, and they can find them if they need to find them, I guess.
Okay.
So why not make it, easier for people like myself, for example, to get verified? Okay, I've got the iPhone, I've got the fingerprint thing. I've got no problem with them having my fingerprint. I've got no problem with them verifying that I own CraigShipp.com. They can verify whatever they need to verify. And then now they know, once they know who I am and they know where I live and so on and so forth, right? Seems like to me it would be much easier for them to kick me out of the sandbox if I'm misbehaving. And so why not escalate the verification process and let those of us that wouldn't mind being verified to voluntarily provide whatever information they need to verify I am who I am. And once you know who somebody is, then first of all, it's much less likely that they're going to push harassment to the point where they get a complaint filed against them and they get kicked out. That's, first of all, that's going to be a deterrent for them doing that because they know that people know who they are, right? And second of all, if you know who people are and so on and so forth, you're more likely to circle them and maybe allow them to contact with you and so forth. And you just block out all the people that aren't verified. And we trust that over time, the people that are sincere and that want to use this for legitimate purposes are going to take the steps necessary to get themselves verified. But right now, I don't even know if there's any way I can even try to get verified.
No.
You can't because that's not what verified means.
Yeah,
First of all, verified should mean. It should mean that they know who I am.
Starbelly speeches type thing. It's at the whim of Google.
Yeah, well, then it shouldn't be. Verified should mean they have a reasonable knowledge of who I am. That's first of all.
That's not what it means.
But that's the first thing they should do is they should change that.
That's not what it's supposed to mean.
Well, then they should change that. They should make verified mean they know who that entity is.
Lady Gaga's account is verified. She's not doing anything for Google.
Right.
So don't give me that. It's like a special Google club or whatever. No, it's not. It's who they verify whoever they want, whenever they want.
I didn't say it was a special. Whoa! I didn't say it was a special Google club. You did.
No, I did. No, absolutely, and I'm standing by that.
Yeah, but
you have to be doing something for Google.
It should be that they reasonably know who that person is. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be.
No, it shouldn't.
Yes,
Why?
it should.
No. And listen to me first before you trample over me. It should not be that they reasonably know who that person is. It should be that they know who that person is. That's the difference.
They have my driver's license.
Well, but you could have a fake
I've been there.
driver's license.
I shook hands with Dave Besbris. How much more do they
but
know?
when I say, Alan, when I say they reasonably know who you are, what I'm saying is, they're pretty much sure that I'm Craig Shipp. I could not. It's possible, even though they have my driver's license, they have my fingerprint, they have whatever.
Craig,
it's still possible I'm not who I am, right? But it's reasonable that I am who I am.
Can we take a step back? That's not what verified name is. And it's a verified name, and it's important to understand that it's a verified name. What it's basically saying is this name is the person who you think it is. So when William Shatner is on here, his name gets verified to confuse the William Shatner from somebody else who has the name William Shatner. That's what it's there for.
All right. Well, then they should have another program called Identity. Called we know who
They're
this
all
person.
agree with.
We know this person's identity.
Okay,
but now you're getting into the tricky issue of what identity means, and you've just stepped on a landmine.
Oh my God, here we go.
Well, and I already said I don't want to go there tonight, especially because it's now 1 a.m. on the East Coast. This show has been going on now for something like 3 hours and 36 minutes, and it's only 4 hours long.
Well, okay, so I gotta let me do a quick thing here. We all agree on that topic. So I'm gonna move on real quick. This is Kadeus, and I put in the pop-up chat in our Hangout chat the link I'm gonna show. But let me go to screen share here. I asked Kadeus what camera they were using. This is Kadeus, who is like, first of all, let me say, ultimately styling. Alan, please do a timestamp on this one. I added it.
I got it. Don't worry. Just talk
okay,
already.
So here's the camera, and Kadeus is like got this crazy outfit only he could pull off, and it works. It's awesome. He's got the Beats by Dre headphones, it looks like, and he's got the white Google Glass, and then of course the whole outfit matches, right? But anyway, some like video crew, TV crew, whatever came up, and it looks like it's from this show. If you zoom in on the microphone, the flag, it's why did you come to Japan? And so I found that on YouTube, and it looks like a TV show on one of those Japanese channels. It's very professionally done, I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get a strike. But the camera, I asked him what was the camera they were using, and he found it. It's the Sony HVR Z5U HDV or high definition handheld, blah blah blah. Looks like it's about $3,400 on Amazon. 5-star reviews, and but that's cool. So there we have it. Kadeus is so cool that TV crews just seek him out. And
Kadeus is cool. But,
oh yeah.
But thank you for that ratings bonanza, Dan and Kadeus. So Craig, how was your Google Plus week?
Well, I really don't do anything on Google Plus, so I guess it was great.
Why are you on this show anyway?
I keep asking myself that. I have no freaking idea. That's a good question.
Okay, fine. Pam,
I'll think about it.
Well, I already told you all how my Google Plus week was.
Good. So this show is really zipping along here, and I think Dan just got out of his chair, so I can't ask him how his Google Plus.
How was your week?
How was yours?
I'm not actually sure I was on it all that much. No, I was.
Why are you on this show?
I sent around a bunch of private messages. I actually did a presentation this week at the New York Google Developers Group about developing for Google Plus and why you should care. And I had a lot of people who were extremely interested in what I had to say because they care. So that was my Google Plus week. Moving on to the next topic. One of the other show that we do is our Android Week, and that's Monday night at 9 p.m. or so Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And coming up on Monday's show, we're going to be talking probably for far too long about the Nexus 5 and Android 4.4, which was...
And when is that show, Alan?
That show is every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Don't forget that daylight saving time ends in the United States this Sunday, so make sure your iOS device is actually working because, it has some problems with daylight savings time sometimes. No problems on the Android devices, probably.
So that's the same time as the Hooping Live show that's at 9 o'clock Monday nights, hoopinglive.com. No wonder you don't get as many viewers as you normally would have. You're competing with Audrey Scherer.
We've got plenty of viewers.
Easy to do. And Dan, how was your Google Plus week?
My Google Plus week was fun. It was cool, and I learned some cool stuff. A lot of stuff we couldn't get to tonight, but obviously I was following the news, and this thing at the LAX airport was interesting, and I'm gonna do a
Why
post.
again are you on this show?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
It's his show, Craig.
We were just wondering. Oh, because it's your show. Oh,
Because
no wonder
I
you're on.
started this
Yeah.
money-sucking, time-sucking hole
Okay.
2 years ago, and
That explains it
here I
then.
sit.
Certainly
So
isn't
I want
talented.
to. I'm curious about. I want to talk to Zafrir, who he made the Do Share app, and he lives in Israel. And I'm really curious to ask him what they do in Israel to prevent for security in airports. So I want to ask him about that because we had this LAX thing today.
They beat people, probably.
And I want to. Morris would have been a good person to ask too, because of course in Ireland they dealt with the IRA, so they would abandon cars, they would detonate, right? They didn't mess around. And then I found this neat thing on Amazon. Someone shared. I'm sharing my screen for the viewers, but you guys can't see it. But there's this thing called Smile, and it's for charities because I'm involved in the Friends of Shenandoah River State Park, which is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit, all volunteer, no paid employees. Group, and they have this neat program called you go to smile.amazon.com, and if you go there you can search by zip code. I've already apparently chosen one, so I can't go to it, but you can search your local zip code, and if you're into your local church or the United Way or a local any nonprofit, any 501c3 is in there. And if you sign up for it, then on certain products you buy on Amazon, 0.5% of the purchase price will go to that charity. So that's a neat way for them to raise funds. And, of course, it's good for Amazon because that charity will promote it. So that was kind of a neat find. And so I encourage that group. And if you're in whatever town and you're involved in a nonprofit or civic group, with a 501c3, then you are currently in this program. And you just have to find it. Go to smile.amazon.com and you can find it. And then you can ask your members and friends of friends to choose that as their designated charity, and then that charity will get 5%, half of 1% of all their purchases. So it's a small amount of money, but it helps because these are volunteer groups, and a little bit of money goes a long way for these folks who, as Craig would say, unlike the big government, these are volunteers helping local people and doing good work, and I want to encourage that. So it was great. The Android show, of course, will go way in depth, as Alan said, about the announcement about the Nexus 5 and KitKat, and maybe
preview. The camera isn't all that.
And we'll I'll have to get some. Maybe I'll get Peter G to send me a KitKat bar so I can munch on it during the show, because I got hungry while I was watching them. I had to go get my rice crackers. But anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate it. And we are here every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And thanks to the whole panel who some of you stuck it out to the end. I think like 1 or 2 episodes ago, Pam, it was just you and me at the end. We're the diehards. But thank you all very much. We appreciate it so much. And thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, especially because we love the comments, and that's why we put them up, because they're awesome. They're far more interesting than anything we have to say. And hope you enjoyed the rants. And this episode of the McLaughlin Group is now coming to an end. So to all of you, I would say,
real quick before you end.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to compile all of these, and I am going to post them in the Google Plus Help community. So everyone who made a comment, do not think that I ignored you. We just ran short of time. I will be posting these in the Google Plus Help community, and I will brave John Skeets and some of the other helpers by doing that. Okay?
Do me a favor, Pam.
Make sure you mention me so I can make sure to see it.
Are you going to put my suggestions in there too?
No.
Okay.
Because you're never here, so it doesn't matter.
That's fine. No problem.
Yeah, but I will post them on Facebook for you.
Okay.
Okay, so Pam, do me a favor, when you post that, make sure you mention me or direct share with me or whatever, so that I can put that in the show
notes.
Show notes.
The topic things.
Yep.
And then folks will know. So, so anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Most of you watch afterward, but please consider watching live and commenting and being part of the program yourself. So until we meet again next Friday, and I'll remind you that we were late this time because of Alan, which is a very rare occurrence. Until next time, have a wonderful, epic, awesome, spectacular Google Plus week. Peace out.